see, super hype. But right now, I'm still stoked about that UB conference, and I know a lot of you are as well. And so I went back there, counted your tweets, every single one of them, because I wanted to see which Ubisoft game generated the most hype from the conference. So here we go. The results are in. Just Dance. Just kidding, lol, lol, lol. Okay, so Far Cry 5, as expected, has generated tons of discussion, as well as Beyond Good and Evil 2, which my favorite thing, but still, Far Cry 5 looks amazing as well. So right now I'm gonna go right into your tweets here. See what you guys have to say. Stone from Ubisoft, he says, anyone wanna go grab dinner at E3? Oh man, that's scary. That's scary stuff. I don't want to fight against those country folk, man. They're dangerous. Here we go. And Liam says, Beyond Good and Evil 2. That's right. Dude, and seeing that, I was like, okay, this has to be Beyond Good and Evil, right? They don't have, like, they're not going to have another game with a pig in it, right? Okay, and Autocrat says, I really liked Black Flag and Syndicate, especially Syndicate. Unity was not as good. I'm glad Origins is starting to pique my interest. You know what? I think Origins looks amazing. Egypt is an incredible place to make this theme. You know, I'm a Tomb Raider fan, so I've got a lot of interest in Egypt. All right, Assassin's Creed Origins. Word up, that's right. Okay, Goo Boys says, I want to play this Assassin's Creed so bad. Me too, man, I feel ya. Kike says, Skull and Bones, boom. Sign me up, gimme, gimme, gimme. That's right. All right, and Scruffo says, I'm super down for more pirates from Ubisoft. And Andrea, look at that A, that's pretty cool. Actually, Ubisoft makes good pirate games, so I'm probably sold with this game. That's right, their naval combat is incredible. So I want to see more tweets from you guys, and I want to know where you're watching from. So tweet at me, use the hashtag YouTubeE3. Let me know where you're watching from, and I will check those out. So we're going to toss it back to Geoff.
All right, thank you very much, Melanie. We've got so much more YouTube Live at E3 coming up. We're cooking. Ethan Guillemot from Ubisoft will be here shortly. We've got the PlayStation press conference coming up. The only place you can watch that live in 4K, best resolution, best quality, is right here on YouTube. So stick around, pop the popcorn, because it's going to be an amazing press conference later tonight. But right now, I'm joined with one of our favorite YouTube creators. I'm sure you watch him all the time. Ali A, great to have you with us,
Thank you very much for having me.
Coming all the way from Europe for E3, you have to, right?
I have to do it. It's the biggest gaming event of the year. Obviously, so much new games to get hands on with. I'm so excited, and it's great to be here. Really good to be here.
Well, good to have you here, man. And you know, you are always great because your channel, I feel like you're always giving people the scoop on the latest gaming news, especially for Call of Duty. So I want to start with that.
Yes.
So what do you think so far, Call of Duty World War II? I don't know if you were at the event in London when they revealed it.
Yes.
They've shown a little bit of that. We haven't got our hands on, but I think you said you're going to get to play tomorrow.
Yes.
Are you, you love to be honest with them about when you love it, when you don't?
For sure.
What do you think about this year's game so far, what you're hearing?
Well, it's huge. It's brought it back to the boots on the ground, which so many people have wanted for so many years. Once they introduced exo jumping with Advanced Warfare, which is actually SledgeHammer Games that did that. It's funny that then the same developers bring it back to boots on the ground. Exactly. But it's what everyone wants, and it's that World War II setting that everyone wanted to get back into as well. COD's been very futuristic recently. And as you said, I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but I'm hoping that there's going to be the multiplayer reveal later today. We'll see it for the first time. I'm then getting hands-on tomorrow morning, and I cannot wait to feel the game. Like, that's what you need to, like, it's great seeing trailers, it's great seeing things on camera, but to actually play the game is so huge. So tomorrow will be, my opinions will go online, and I'll let everyone know what I think of it, and fingers crossed it's amazing, because there's so much hype around it.
Exactly, but you're right. It's like all we've seen is that one cinematic trailer.
Yes, yeah.
And that's campaign, and I think it's great that they are making the, multiplayer is such a huge part of the Call of Duty experience.
Yeah.
For you guys to get to see it early, because some years, like last year, other years, you're waiting until, August, September sometimes.
Yes, that's the thing. They've gone with a sort of reveal schedule more of Black Ops 3, which was just give us multiplayer really early, because E3 normally is, here's a big campaign reveal, whereas this year it's obviously, we're going to blow the doors open with multiplayer, and they've actually announced divisions. We haven't seen it yet, but 5 basic subclasses almost, with different weapon loadouts, different abilities, and we know limited intel about that, but I think tonight is going to be when they really let us know how it works, and it's going to be a really exciting way to play Call of Duty. So, I'm so excited, so excited.
That's awesome. Well, we can't wait to see your opinions on your channel tomorrow, I'm sure. Other things, what are you excited about at E3 in general, like when you walk around the floor?
Yeah, I mean, there's actually so many games. At heart, I'm a huge Nintendo fanboy, and Super Mario Odyssey is meant to have its grand reveal as well, with more information being shown from Nintendo about that, and that's going to be a huge release on the Switch.
I think that game is going to be so incredible because I went back a few weeks ago and watched that reveal trailer.
It's quite a big trailer, isn't it?
And there's so much in there, and I feel like in the context of that press conference, that Zelda trailer and that Mario trailer are some of the best Nintendo trailers I've ever seen.
100%.
And when you pull that Mario trailer apart, there's so much going on.
That's
I mean, you know, obviously New Donk City, but it's just like the abilities and the gameplay, and that's like, if you know, obviously Breath of the Wild was incredible, and if they can do something even anywhere close to that with Mario, with this big open world, with adventuring,
it would be huge. And we actually brought our Switches over for the flight. Obviously, flying from the UK, it was about a 12-hour flight, so we set up our Switches and played Zelda for ages. And as strong as the Switch is as a portable console, I think it needs that another title to really add to its roster of games. And Zelda's great, 1-2 Switch is great with friends, but to bring Mario, like a brand new title, is going to be absolutely huge. And as you said, there's so many new ways to get around the map. And there's his hat, which he's like throwing around and using as a boomerang. So it's going to be so interesting to see what they do with that. And I will sink a lot of time into it. Because, I mean, obviously I'm that Call of Duty guy, but I've got all the Mario games I'm playing, Need for Speed I'm excited for, Destiny 2 I'm excited for. So just trying to get hands on with as much as possible.
Let me ask you about consoles. I don't know if you saw the Xbox One X reveal yesterday. You know, Call of Duty obviously had to deal with Xbox for a while and moved to PlayStation. What do you play mostly now? PlayStation?
Yeah, well, I was actually on my flight. The flight just landed as they announced the Xbox One X, which looked really, really cool. I was initially on PlayStation 2, switched over to 360 when all the DLC was on 360, and then I sort of balanced PlayStation and Xbox for a little bit, and then when all the DLC moved over to PlayStation, my go-to console now is a PlayStation 4 Pro. That's what I've got plugged in. So I'm really interested. I don't know if there's a chance for me to get hands-on with the Xbox One X, and maybe it'd be interesting. Yeah, I think I will be able to get hands-on with it, and it's more about, you know, the extra power, the 4K capabilities as well, and it basically means there's a better console out there for both the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One now for the fans of either of the consoles. But for me, I'm go-to PlayStation, really. The secret's
and the Pro, do you have a Pro?
Yes, I do. I actually recently upgraded because of the 1 terabyte hard drive capability. My PlayStation 4 was filled. I couldn't add any more games. So I sent everything, all the files over to the PlayStation 4 Pro. And I do actually have a 4K TV as well, so I can actually see it in 4K. It does look nuts. So yeah, I've got all my consoles stacked on a shelf, and the Switch is in there, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Wii U, everything.
I love it, man. You have such an interesting career that you've built for yourself.
It is crazy. It is crazy.
Around all this. I mean, are you having fun?
Yeah, for sure. It is. I think one thing that I always say is there's a lot more work that goes into YouTube than people ever
running your own
realize.
business, right?
Yeah.
And thinking about what your post schedule is, setting things up. I mean, it's a hamster on the wheel, sort of.
For sure.
You never can take a break.
And I mean, weekends, we try and make time for weekends, but really it's another work day. But it is the best job in the world. Exactly. It is the best job in the world, and when you like something as much as I do, waking up every day and thinking of new video ideas and playing games for a job, you can't complain. It is the best job ever, so it's amazing.
And the game developers listen to your feedback sometimes too, right?
Yeah, they do. I just bumped into Eric. You were talking to Eric a second ago, and obviously so excited for COD World War II. So we have those connections with the developers, and although as YouTubers we're just one of many voices, we can often sort of amplify something that the community is saying, and then the developers can listen to us, and it's a good way of feeding back on many different games as well. So really cool.
What do you think? Star Wars Battlefront? Did you see that?
Yes.
What do you think of that?
So we've just come from EA Play. And it was really cool. So many people queuing up for hours to get hands-on with the games, and I'm looking to get hands-on with Need for Speed Payback, which looks amazing, big Need for Speed fan, and obviously Star Wars Battlefront 2. I played the first one a lot. I think for me, as an FPS player, it was a little bit limited in terms of the unlock progression and what there was to do. And I know that Battlefront 2 now has a campaign added in there as well, single player, so that's huge. But I'm hoping they add to the unlockability, the depth of multiplayer
I was thinking
experience.
the first one, you said, like, you know, not much of no campaign.
Yeah, exactly.
It was sort of it looked beautiful.
Yes, it did look amazing.
You know, DICE is always known for incredible looking games.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a good E3. I think there's going to be a lot of awesome stuff to play.
It is so much fun. I wish it was even longer and I had even more time to play all the games, because you sit there for half an hour, you get kicked off, and all you want to do is play for another half an hour. So it's amazing. So cool to be here.
All right. Awesome. Alec, great to see you,
Thank
man.
you so
Have
much
a
for having
great
me.
E3.
Thank you very much.
And of course, we can check out your channel on YouTube every day like so many other folks. All right. Well, now we've got something really special, guys, because joining us is the founder of SharJahGames and also a guy who is the system architect for PlayStation 4, the one and only Mark Cerny. Great to see you, Mark. How's everything?
Good.
It's a big day for PlayStation.
Yes.
That's the press conference coming up tonight at 6 p.m. But before then, we are going to get a brand new look, a game that's very close to your heart, Knack 2.
Yes.
So first of all, tell us, why is it called Knack 2?
Well, you know, it's been fun looking at the boards. They had lots of helpful suggestions. My favorite ones were, Knack 2 Electric Boogaloo, and I think another good one was Knack 2 the Knackening.
The Knackening,
but
okay.
Knackening, whatever a Knackening is.
Yes.
But you know, at the end, we just decided to keep it simple.
It's at Knack 2. Now, obviously, Knack was a title that right when you were on stage announcing the PlayStation 4, we got our first sort of glimpse at this world of Knack. And it's something that you know, the team has been working on, this new game. So tell us a bit for people that may not have experienced Knack, because there are a lot of PlayStation players that, you know, bought the system a couple years into it. You know, you have an incredible legacy of building so many great games, and people watching may not know Mark's history, but I mean, Mark has been in the industry for over 30 years, has contributed to incredible, you know, games like Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank. You know, Mark has just really
Spyro the Dragon.
Spyro, that's right. Even Sonic back in the day, producing that. So Mark knows, you know, great platforming, and is, you know, is a coder and just such an intelligent guy. So I wanted to ask you about Knack. You know, why did you want to create this franchise and this type of gameplay for, you know, the 2017 gamer?
Well, I mean, the Origin 2013 game was just, I thought, wouldn't it be nice, you know, if there was a character action game available at launch. So we went ahead. I mean, we had an idea that there'd be this very special character who could pick up parts and grow larger. So the idea is that Knack, you know, if he picks up more parts, he can be, he starts out 2 feet tall, but, you know, eventually he can get 30 feet tall, and his character changes a bit as he does that. When he's little, he's more mascotty, sort of old school, and then when he's 6 feet tall, he's more human, and 30 feet tall, he sort of starts to edge into monster territory.
Yes.
So that was the concept, and we did it for launch. Yeah, we did get I've got to be honest, kind of a mixed reaction to the title. A huge weight of expectation being the first title shown for PlayStation 4.
Yes.
So for Knack 2, we went back in, we took our feedback, whether it be reviews or boards or you know, what we got in the playtests. And with Knack 2, variety is really our keyword. I think anybody who's seeing the footage right now can just see, you know, every level of the game. It's still the same character, but we now have not just the combat, but also platforming gameplay. Yeah. We have lots of little puzzles. Not that deep, but you still get that 3 minutes of trying to figure out what to do and that fun eureka moment when you figure out how to make forward progress.
Sandboxing, because there are a bunch of, you know, more open environments. You can have things in different ways.
A little bit more often open. Combat much deeper.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of different moves. Reach out your arm 20 feet and grab an enemy and pull them in and beat them up.
And obviously, and changing form in many different ways again, right?
Yeah, you have control over your size. We're seeing a little of that here. So you can, anytime you want to get small, you can get small. So you can see Knack climbing ledges. Here works well.
There's still something about, you know, that sort of the cadence of that gameplay, which still works, right? So many years later, it's just, you know, you can add in new elements with, as you said, size and all these other things. And technically now, you know, with PS4 and PS4 Pro, it allows you to create these beautiful worlds and allow this character to scale in ways that, you know, 10, 15 years ago could never probably really do on the hardware systems.
It's definitely fun doing all the little physicsy stuff with his parts. Yeah. So right now we're seeing some platform stuff. The team's very careful. This isn't sort of floating platforms in space like it would have been, you know, 20 years ago in the genre. In the level we were seeing earlier, there was a series of water wheels which are providing power for this city, and then the scene we were just seeing.
Look how it's just so. You said the variety and diversity, sort of all these.
That's one of the fun things about the genre is you can go to so many different places. I mean, old school, you had the ice level and the lava level, and these days it has to be a bit more story-based. But really the challenge part of the story making is how do we take our hero through all of those different places and have a real rationale for it.
Yeah, well, it's It looks incredible. Now tell me how does this game get developed? Because you are such a busy guy working on so many things. How much of Mark Cerny's time is devoted to kind of working with the team on that?
So the team is the Japan studio. So Sony Interactive Entertainment's worldwide studio has 200-something people in a facility in Shinagawa. And those people created Last Guardian and Gravity Rush and Knack. There's a couple of 5 different teams in that facility. And I have to be in Tokyo anyway every month because the hardware works. So it's very easy to sit down and have those face-to-face meetings every 3 to 4 weeks. And then when I'm back in the States, a lot of teleconferences and getting builds and playing. Talking to the team.
I guess sitting at home playing the latest build.
Get on the phone.
I mean, what's great though, and I'm sure for someone like you has so many opportunities, and obviously taking care of the hardware is a big part of the business. But there must be something creatively to you that you really enjoy still making games.
Well, the best advice I ever got personally was from the former chairman of Sony. Interactive Entertainment, and he was saying, don't stop making games. Yes, hardware is important, but a lot of the value, a lot of the ability to understand what needs to be created comes from working with the technology, trying to use it in creative ways.
Yeah. Well, it's you're right. You get to go hands-on, and then you know the ins and outs of what it can and can't do, and it looks really. I got to say, it's one of those things that the gameplay. You look at it, it just looks very, a lot of variety to it, and I can't wait to see it.
One more thing,
please.
co-op.
Yeah.
So we've doubled down on co-op.
Okay.
A lot of careful work with the camera to make sure that 2 players can play freely in any
all the way
scenario.
through the game. You and your friend.
It's couch co-op, but because we have SharePlay as part of our user experience, the other player can be at their own house with their own PlayStation 4. They don't even need to own the game, and they can come join.
Oh, cool.
What else? The second player, there's a lot of different modes, like driving a tank. I've been showing to some of the press. It's fun.
No, that's why it's like this is a full scale.
All of the second player is never a spectator. So even driving a tank, what we do is we go in and it's like the second player is manning the weapons
driver, one
console.
turret?
You've got it.
Yeah.
You've got it. Just make sure that it is fully involving experience for both people.
Well, I got to say, it looks great, and one of the things I love about PlayStation is they're always investing very heavily in first party and creators, and even something like Knack, where people are, well, would they do a sequel or not? It's like for you to be able to come back and build on this franchise and continue to take it in new directions is really exciting. So when will people get to play this?
Well, we've said later this year. We haven't set the date yet, but I'm sure that announcement will come fairly soon.
Okay, well, there's a big press conference tonight, so who knows? All right, well, Mark Cerny, it is great seeing you, one of the true legends in the video game business, Mark Cerny, and we'll see you, we're excited to see you at the E3 Coliseum, because you're going to be on stage with the entire team.
Crash Bandicoot.
I know, 21 years later, we're going to get the original Naughty Dog, a lot of the key members of the team, all together to talk about that. That's going to happen on Wednesday. We'll be streaming it live on YouTube, and I can't wait for that, because that was a game that was so close to my heart when I was a little boy at the second E3 in 1996. I was 16 years old, and I remember walking up to the PlayStation kiosk to play Crash, and it inspired me. So to have you on our show is always such an honor, Mark.
Thanks so much.
All right, well, we'll see you tonight, hopefully, at PlayStation. Now we're going to head on back over here. Thanks, Mark. And I'm now joined by Al Bickham, who's going to give us an inside look at Total War Warhammer 2. Hello, Al.
Hi, Geoff.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
You're looking very dashing there in your outfit.
I might say the same view.
Thank you very much. All right, so Total War Warhammer 2. You guys, I know, had some stuff this morning at the PC Gaming Show talking about the title. For folks that may not be, obviously familiar, I think, with the Total War franchise, but Warhammer, Total War together. What can you tell us about this title?
So this is the second part. We're building a grand trilogy of games here. So this is the second part in the trilogy.
Yep.
And it covers a whole new part of the world with 4 new playable races. We're building a load of new sort of narrative direction into the campaign game. And along with that comes some big new characters as well in these new races. So what we're seeing here, for example, is this is actually one of the skill trees for one of the characters. His name's Mazda Mundi. He's an ancient Slan mage priest, which basically is shorthand for an incredibly powerful wizard. And he's like a giant toad that floats around on a throne above the battlefield. So he's got some very powerful, he's got like a mixed lore of magic where he's sort of plucked lots of powerful spells from different laws of magic because he's sort of master of the art sort of thing. So he's got one in particular called Ruination of Cities, which is a super powerful spell completely unique to him. Nobody else gets that. And he also gets an epic mount, which is essentially a giant Triceratops clad in sort of bronze armor, which is because the Lizardmen are all about their entire race is essentially they're dinosaurs.
Yeah.
They're all these big, massive, scaly beasts, so they're spectacular to see in battle, of course, and control in battle.
All right, here we go. Get some gameplay.
So this is Mazdamundi himself. This is Zlak, his epic mount, and so once you unlock that mount for him as well, he won't just be a powerful spellcaster on the battlefield. He'll be super tough, walking around on this colossal dinosaur, which is going to give him loads of extra melee abilities as well. So. And this whole environment is the jungles of Lustria. This is the sort of homelands of the Lizardmen. So he's casting a spell here. He's casting a Comet of Cassandora, I think. So you can see he's really getting to the spirit. His eyes are glowing. He's really going for it, and then boom, down it comes.
And I love the sense of scale here. So much.
Yeah.
PC game, obviously, guys. So you can get in very in depth here in detail with a mouse and keyboard.
Absolutely, yeah. And we do this micro to macro scale thing, which we've always done in Total War, but with Warhammer, you're seeing these incredibly detailed fantasy races for a change, and Warhammer 2 is no different from the first game in that regard.
Yeah.
It's just that we've got much greater diversity between sort of campaign mechanics and their battle mechanics as well. So, so this is some scenes from the battle that we've got playable here on the show floor at E3.
Yep.
It's called the Battle of the Fallen Gates, and this is you see the big Carnosaur, the big Tyrannosaurus Rex style creature there.
Yep.
That's an epic mount, another epic mount called Grimlock, and it's being ridden by Krokgar, who's one of the other legendary lords for the Lizardmen. So his job here is to fight his way across this bottleneck on the bridge, this kind of choke point battle as we're calling them. Then he's got to work his way up the hill and defeat the High Elves, who are essentially meddling with ancient Lizardmen powers they do not understand. So he's there to oust them, to get them out, and to stop some kind of dreadful chaos invasion happening or something like that. So.
Wow. Well, it seems like there's a lot going on here, and the level of fidelity to have all these different, the animations and everything synced up is quite the epic battle, and the fact that users can control it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, look at that.
And I think dragons have this fire breath attack now. So in the previous game they were melee only, but now they have a fire breath attack, so they can attack ranged. That's on a refresh, so you can keep them flying around, sort of spurting flames around, or get them down into melee. And there's a few new battle features in the mix as well. We've got a new feature called Battle Abilities. So spellcasters, they still get their spells and things like that, but there's a little icon to the right of the screen with a 2 on it there that's refreshing. That thing there, and so one of the Lizardmen battle abilities is to summon down to spawn a unit of cold ones, which are these feral little dinosaur type creatures, really nasty, fast moving. You can drop them in behind your enemy when you're about to strike them and really, smack the anvil with a hammer, so to speak. Wow. Well, there's a lot going on there. When can we check this one out? When's it going to come out? So we're out September 28th.
Okay.
Yep. We're available for pre-order now. We've got a nice, quite a hefty early adopter bonus as well, which is a completely new race for the original Total War Warhammer. So, and that'll be playable well before launch as well. So if you pre-order,
all right.
So.
Looks very cool. Al, thank you so much for stopping by.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Great to see you. And we have so much more YouTube Live at E3. I know I've been teasing it, but Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot will be here. We got to talk to him about what I think one is the best Ubisoft press conference in E3 history. It's just incredible. We'll talk to him about that. We've got lots more guests stopping by to showcase more games as we count down to 6 p.m. tonight. I know you could be watching the NBA, but you should be watching YouTube Live at E3. We've got an incredible night ahead for you with tons of games. But right now, we're going to head on outside because Melanie Mac's getting a little sun. What's out there? What's happening out there, Mel?
Hi, Jeff.
Hello.
Woo! Everybody is so excited. They let me back outside again. The hype is real. All right, so we're at the little YouTube lounge going on here. Hello, how you doing?
Great. Awesome to be here.
All right, what do you think about this place? Pretty fun, huh?
Beautiful weather, beautiful people.
All right, wonderful. So has there been any announcements today that has just like blown your mind?
Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yes! Yes! The best! All right, and is there anything you're anticipating from Sony that you want to see?
I want to see more VR stuff, and I want to see if they go into the MR space with holographic games and things like that, see if they push it.
All right, that sounds like fun. All right, and here we go. I like your fancy outfit. Are you Odin?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, I thought so. This is great. Okay. So have you seen anything today that has just like blown your mind?
Yeah, I actually started the day at the PC game show and was just blown away by the Age of Empires announcement. I'm so waiting for that. It's the first game I played, so I still want to play it again. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So is there any game that you're hoping gets announced tonight at the Sony conference?
I actually didn't think about it, but usually everything Sony does is amazing. So
That's
I'm
true.
kind of expected to get my mind blown anyway.
All right, that's true. They have definitely been on point lately. So we're gonna roll back here, talk to some more people, and I think I recognize you from somewhere.
I don't know.
Are you Awesome Joey?
Maybe today.
Oh my gosh, amazing. So is there anything you saw today that just really blew your mind?
Oh my goodness, there's been a bunch of really cool stuff. I'm kind of hoping for something really crazy to come out of Sony later though.
Okay, like any crazy ideas, like new IP or a sequel?
I'm wanting a new IP, some new IP adventure game maybe, super fun. Maybe like a female lead.
Yes.
Really cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm about that. And you must be Jessica?
Yes.
All right, so you excited to be here?
Oh yeah, I'm really excited.
All right, so has anything today that has been announced just like got you super hyped and excited?
Not so far, but I'm really excited for the Nintendo press conference. Maybe more Mario Odyssey.
All right, well, Mario and the Rabbids was really cool though, right?
Yeah, it does look really cool.
All right, that's right. You know what? I think it's time for a selfie. Here we go. All right. I want to see you guys post your best selfies. Make sure you tweet them at me. Use hashtag YouTube E3. I want to show all the peoples. So I'm going to send it back to you, Geoff.
All right, send your selfies in. Thank you very much, Melanie. And now it's time for my annual E3 visit with the co-founder and CEO of Ubisoft, Yves Guillemot. Yves, you've been so kind to come on our show every year. It's a tradition after your press conference, and I was telling you when you came in, I think everyone online agrees, you guys just crushed it this year. It was incredible to see all that news, innovative new IP, BG&E 2, Far Cry, Assassins, a tight show, like just over an hour. I felt good about it, but how did you feel?
Oh, we liked it very much.
Yes.
What we liked the most is actually the reaction we have from all the people online. So that was the best part, I would say.
Well, I know it's hard to sort of pull that all together and all the news and announcements, so there's lots we can talk about, but I got to first ask you about BG&E 2, which I think probably every year I've asked you about this show, and you're like, well, we're waiting for Michel Ancel to tell us when he's ready. That game, I don't know, you probably know more than I do, it was probably like 7-8 years ago you had that first sort of tease of it at the end of the press conference, and then we heard nothing for a long time. Then you come back with this incredible piece. Tell us, why was this year the right year to talk about it again?
Michel wanted to really work with all the people that played the game, to help to work with them to really create something new. So he said, okay, it's the right time now to go and speak about the game and ask for feedback on everything we do. So that's really what made him decide to
talk about it.
Talk about the
what we saw here, this isn't like in-engine, this is kind of like a concept CG piece for it?
Yeah, it's actually, Michel really created all those characters and he worked with an outside company as well to make it happen. But he's really the guy who, told them what to do, how to do it, and
to introduce the vision to the world.
That's right, and to each character also.
Wow, well, yeah, it looks absolutely incredible. So where is, I know he said in the press conference, sort of, email us if you want to be a part of this. What does that mean? Is it sort of like, is it going to be an open kind of like early access type of game where people will get feedback early, or how is that going to manifest itself?
You will have to ask him exactly how he's going to do it, but the goal is really to make sure he can share a certain number of elements on the world, on how, on the rules of that world, and on also how how it will go, and to get feedback from all the community and actually ask them to help him create a part of the game.
Wow. So is it in active development now? There's a team working on it?
Oh yes, for sure. Like Michel said, they've been working for 3 years now on a totally new engine. Okay. And this engine it can be seen at the show. Actually.
Oh really? You'll have the actual gameplay at the show?
Yeah, it will be behind closed doors.
Okay.
So, but
you don't have it here for us?
No,
I'll have to come over and see.
But he's going to show, you will be able to play in that engine today.
Oh wow! Well, that I know that's a game that's very close to your heart, and working with Michelle and all that you guys have done together. So I'm so excited that that's coming out. Is there any sense of like it's still a few years till this game will be ready?
It's on the way, and really what's very important to consider is that collaboration he wants with all the people that can have an impact.
All the ones that are always writing you on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter asking for more, you sort of gave the fans what they wanted, right?
Yeah, and he wants to organize this, collaboration.
Yeah.
It's not new, but it will be new on BGNE.
And will the fans? Is that sort of like? Are the fans going to help like fund the game, or is it something that's more just creative, or how is that going to work?
It's not in the funding.
Okay, it's not like
funding. It's going to be Ubisoft.
You got that covered.
Yes, that's right. And no, it's creatively.
Yeah.
We are very interested to
iterate
get,
based on the fans.
iterate based on, because that world is just enormous, and there are so many possibilities. So he wants the result to be really what people expect.
Wow. Well, it's very exciting news, and that, sometimes like that would be enough for a press conference, but then it's like you have I think 2 other brand new sort of IPs. Opening the press conference with Miyamoto-san, which is pretty special for you. So it feels like this is one of the years where like all the stars aligned for you, right? It's like lots of games, lots of news, and that's a preview, I guess, of the next few years for Ubisoft in a way, right? Because that's part of the tension I think these game companies have. You saw Bethesda last night said, "Oh, we're only going to show you what's coming out this year." And you decided to sort of, show a little bit more of a roadmap of like, here's 2018, maybe even 2019 and beyond. Tell me about that sort of decision, because I go through that a lot with game companies at the Game Awards and other things. People are always saying, oh, we're going to have a tight little campaign. And you guys decided, no, we want to give people a much further view into where we're going, sort of like what PlayStation sometimes does. Tell me about that sort of tension and why you decided to, share so much with the audience.
What's very important more and more is to be able to do alpha, beta, and to really get feedback and work with the community early.
Yeah.
And also not only that, but also make sure that we debug, we test different formulas.
Yeah.
And now we have to show those games early enough so that we can get that feedback.
And no leaks, right? It's like there's sometimes leaks, but people are like always make fun of all their leaks, but it's like there was some stuff there that people did not know was coming.
That's right. No, so we were really proud about that, because we had so many leaks that we were really afraid that we couldn't keep those. Those games.
But you did, right? And that was
did.
That was great to see. I wanted to ask you a bit about Xbox One X yesterday, the announcement of that. You guys obviously have a partnership with them for Assassin's Creed. But overall, I think in the industry, some gamers looked at it and said, "Oh, it's really cool, but feels very expensive." And I'm already happy with my Xbox One S. What do you think the One X? What does that add to the market? Is it any different than a PS4 Pro? Do you think it's just sort of it's an upgrade for the Xbox audience, or is that something that might actually start to get PlayStation gamers to move to Xbox because it is the most powerful system?
I think like ever in this industry, more power is always fantastic for us publishers.
Yeah.
And Microsoft is doing a fantastic job in bringing this GPU, which is at a level that nobody expected. So I think it's going to help our games to be better.
You love the competition because they push each other to get better,
we do love that.
What about the Switch? Obviously, a huge partnership with Nintendo, which is really special. Tell me how, a little bit more. How did that come together? Because Mr. Miyamoto obviously, has to be very selective about what he spends his time on. How did that what was the gestation of that partnership? How did that come together?
Yeah, sure. As you know, we've been very close to Nintendo for a long time, and the last game we did with them was Rayman.
Yep.
Really, we've been dealing also a lot with Just Dance, doing lots of creative work with Nintendo. And when we saw that machine coming, having mobility on top of accessibility, really we said we have to do something strong. And the team at Nintendo wanted to do something also special with us. So we started to show concepts and And because we have lots of fans of Nintendo in Ubisoft, it was not too difficult to find something that our guys in Ubisoft would love, and so Nintendo would love.
Yeah, well, the game looks really fun, and the fact that, you know, again, the Nintendo team is collaborating with you in such a cool way is amazing. You have studios all around the world, but it's like now to have Nintendo as sort of a partner in that game is really, really exciting. One thing that a lot of fans on Twitter were asking me about was, you know, you went through the presentation, lots of news, but there wasn't anything about new sort of Tom Clancy games, and one thing that a lot of fans have asked about is Splinter Cell. Will we see Splinter Cell come back soon?
I can't say much about that, but for sure all the Clancy games are, you know, are taken care of. It's just we have quite a lot on our plate at the moment, and you know, the Division continues to be played. Rainbow Six, as you see,
it's had a really great ramp, right?
Yeah,
esports and everything. Yeah.
Even last, I think yesterday was one of the highest number of players playing.
Really?
So it continues very well.
Okay.
And Ghost Recon, as you could see, is also still extremely popular. So all the Clancy games are really coming along. So we are not forgetting Splinter Cell.
Yes, give it time. Well, yeah, you have to save things for future years. One thing, though, I think I wanted to ask you about was, you know, you've talked publicly about this idea of games becoming more of a service, and these live service games, and I think Rainbow Six is a great example. You know, launched, I think, did fine, but then it really, you know, sort of continued to ramp up, and more people were playing it, as you said. You know, here you are, a year and a half since that game launched, and it's most players ever. So how is that changing how you approach development for a franchise like an Assassin's Creed or a Far Cry? Because, you know, you took a year off for Assassins last year, but now you're back this year. Are you still thinking that you're going to, you know, make Assassins an annual franchise, or what did you learn from that year off?
What we learned is that we really could give the teams the possibility to really come with all their ideas and make sure they didn't only have ideas and concepts, but that they could really make them happen. And yes, the industry is changing because people want to stay with a game or with a universe for a long time. And it's I compare it to, you know, between movies and TV series. More and more players want to learn how to play and then to spend lots of time with their friends or alone, but on something that is going to evaluate a lot. So we are really making sure our games follow that path, because that's really what they want. So we are pushing, you know, all the teams in that direction. I'm saying pushing, but actually it's sometimes them pushing us. So no, we are really well aligned together to make sure we can give a totally new experience that can last for longer.
Do you think Assassins, you'll go back to sort of the yearly cycle now? Was that sort of an odd year to not do one last year?
It's difficult to say now. You know, what we can say is this one should please people. It's a great iteration on what we've done in the past.
Yeah, looks absolutely incredible what the team has put together there. And yeah, it's I said, I think that, you know, you guys are, even Far Cry, it feels like that's, you know, it's a game that even Dan, it's like it's very on the, it's pushing people into uncomfortable areas in terms of how they're sort of thinking about the world and what's happening there. But it's, you know, I know you and the team, you know, you always want to push the art form forward if you can for some of these games. And lots of new IPs, as always. So it was a good year for you guys, and I know you've been someone who's been in this business for more than 2 decades, trying to push the. You know, I know you and the team, you know, you always want to push the art form forward if you can for some of these games. And lots of new IPs, as always. So it was a good year for you guys, and I know you've been someone who's been in this business for more than 2 decades, trying to push the industry in new areas. So congratulations to you and everyone at all the teams. It looked like it was a lot of fun to put that press conference together.
No, thank you. And, you know, for us, we are so much energized by everything we receive from the players, the people that love our games, and that's really helping our teams to put you know, lots of energy to create fantastic experiences. No,
we want you guys to stay independent, keep making the games that you guys make. So Yves, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for coming on the YouTube show. We'll look forward to seeing you at the show and seeing that Beyond Good and Evil behind the scenes. You got to get me in for that. All right.
You will be welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, next up, we actually have the official trailer for Assassin's Creed Origins. Check it out right now.
We are the first. The first to see the gods. The first to tame their beasts. The first to guard the soul from evil. We conquered this land and built an empire. But there are whispers on the wind. A brotherhood born in the shadows. They are the first to call themselves the Assassins.
Available October 27th. Pre-order now and get a bonus mission, Secrets of the First Pyramids.
All right, well, joining us now to dive deeper into the game you just saw, Assassin's Creed Origins, is Ubisoft Montreal producer Julien Laferrière.
Yes, you got it right, thank you.
I'm Canadian, although not French Canadian. But anyways, let's talk a bit about Assassin's Creed Origins. We got to see it yesterday at Xbox, see it again today. You know, this was obviously a unique situation for Assassin's Creed in that you guys got to take a year off from the franchise and come back even stronger this year. So that break, what did that allow the team to do that normally you wouldn't have had time to do on Assassin's Creed?
So we started off the game right after Black Flag, so 3.5 years ago. Wow. So it's the same core team from AC Black Flag. Yeah. And we knew we had some time in front of us, so and we knew we wanted to do Egypt. And we wanted to do the full country, right? So we had to do Egypt the right way. So we reworked all the major mechanics of the game, starting with the fight systems. We have a new fight system that reacts really smoothly to players. We reworked the navigation system as well from the ground up. And we have a new progression system with RPG elements that we're really happy with. So really the goal is to customize your own Assassin's Creed experience within this vast open world.
Now tell us about the setting. And timeline, because that's always something with Assassins that people are wondering, you know, what time period are you going to go? Everyone has an opinion. Like I remember back, I think it was Assassin's Creed 2 Brotherhood or something. There was that hall where there were kind of like the 8 assassins, and I was like, oh, they could go to medieval times. They could go to Japan. And so this origin setting, why was this the one that you guys wanted to pursue for this game?
We wanted to do Ancient Egypt for a long time, and we know it's a fan favorite as well, and there's many speculations on the internet, so we wanted to do it right. And what's great about Ancient Egypt is that it's a civilization that has a very long history. So within 3,000 years of history, we had to pick the right moment. Yeah. So we picked 49 BCE with the rise of Cleopatra on her throne, and it's a pivotal moment in the history of the Egyptian people. They transition from old traditions to like a new world order, which is the perfect setting for Assassin's Creed. And for us, for our lore, it's the opportunity to tell also the story, the origin story of the foundation of the Brotherhood. So we're really happy about it.
Really? So the origin story of the Brotherhood, we'll understand that for the first time.
Exactly, so players will get to witness all the assassins actually joining together to form the tenets and the methods of operation that form the Brotherhood that you've discovered in the previous game. So that's pretty cool.
Awesome. Now, I still need to read the Game Informer cover story that came out because I've been a little busy the past couple of days. But, so these answers may be out there, but what can you tell us about Abstergo and kind of modern day elements in this game? Will we see anything?
Unfortunately, I can't talk about anything related to present day today. There's many months left in the campaign, and we'll get the opportunity to tell more of that later on.
Can you even confirm if there will be present day?
Cannot even confirm that today.
Okay, so all we're seeing is a game sort of set
exactly
in ancient Egypt.
Exactly.
Now tell us about the gameplay, because we obviously know it's a new setting. You know, obviously, look at this. I mean, a ton of sort of options and details. But the core combat or gameplay,
yes.
You know, it's been evolving. But you know, the traversal and everything has been sort of a key tenet of Assassins for. Oh, I feel the first Assassins was what? Was it a decade ago?
It was 10 years ago, actually. Yes.
10 years ago this year.
Yes.
Wow. I was going to say, I thought it was around here. So in those 10 years, you know, gameplay has changed. How is the combat, how's it going to feel different this time around? Did you change it at all because you had more time to sort of go back and take things back to first principles?
So what we wanted to do is give as much freedom as we could to the player. So that's why we have a quest system, so kind of choose your own narrative in a kind of way. And you're right, combat also has evolved within that mindset.
Yeah.
We know there's still players out there, and we embrace that as well. And combat plays a big part of the game because Bayek, or hero, is in a line of warriors, and combat was really important in that game. But we wanted to give a lot of flexibility to the player. And this time around, your weapon choice will affect how you fight with enemies, because everything is based on a hitbox system. So the length of your weapon, its weight, its size, your positioning with the enemies, all that factors in, and really, in my opinion, delivers a new combat experience for the game.
Okay, you know, let's talk about sort of the world. Obviously, you know, water has been a part of the franchise in the past. That's a part, obviously, of what we're seeing here in Egypt. In terms of kind of new types of gameplay, what can we expect in terms of those new experiences? You know, you guys add swimming one year. I mean, there's always something new. So this year, is there anything that you feel like is a trademark new sort of element of gameplay?
So creating this big world, like this full country of Egypt, we thought about the means of transportation. So we have a horse, camels in the game, but also the feluccas that you're seeing there. It's a very quick way to go across the lakes and the rivers we have in the game. And all the bodies of water, you can dive under and explore for lost treasures and loot and that sort of stuff. So that plays a big part in the game. And also naval combat is back. In a smaller part as a Black Flag, but naval combat has its own niche in the game that we'll be able to talk about later on in the campaign.
Okay, cool. So naval as well. Tell us a bit about the assassin you're playing in this game. Who is he?
The assassin is Bayek. And Bayek is the last Magi, basically. So a Magi is the protector of the old traditions of ancient Egypt. And without going too much into details of the personal story of the character, because I don't want to spoil it for players, but Bayek is basically at a pivotal point where the gods are dying. You know, the pharaohs, the lines of pharaohs are no more, and he's kind of representing the old values of Egypt with the influence of the Greeks and the Romans in the game. So Bayek is really like this pivot that represents the old values of Egypt.
Okay. And I'm sure we'll get to some famous historical. You mentioned Cleopatra. There'll be some famous historical characters kind of featuring in the story as well.
Yes, Cleopatra is in the game, and obviously it's an Assassin's Creed game, so there are many other historical characters in the game, and we'll be able to talk about it later on.
I know it's only just the reveal of the game, right? But it's
we're just at E3. You know, there's still a lot of weeks left.
I'm sure, but now this footage we're seeing, is this footage just running on Xbox, or
it's running on Xbox One X actually.
Oh, on X,
4K.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Really a beautiful rendition in 4K of this wonderful world that team across the world have been crafting.
Yeah, and I know you guys were on stage yesterday with Xbox. What are you doing special for Xbox on this game?
So we have a dynamic resolution system, so we can really adapt or rendering based on the power of the console available to us. So running on Xbox One X, we're really able to leverage the full power of the console and render this beautiful world in 4K.
And will you have that on PlayStation as well?
It will be shipping on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro as well.
It'll do the dynamic resolution as well?
Exactly, yes.
Oh, cool. All right, so we'll be able to get... do you think it's going to be at a higher frame rate on the Xbox One X over the PS4 Pro?
At this point in the game, I mean, the frame rate is not set.
Yeah.
But with the system that we have, we're able to leverage as much power as we can to make sure that we have the best experience possible.
So it's possible you would allow it to be higher frame rate on Xbox if you could get it there, I guess, right?
We're aiming to deliver really the best experience on all the platforms.
Yeah,
we're
so
shipping
max
on.
it out based on the power
Exactly,
that they
yes.
have. Well, that's cool. Well, I'm excited to see what you're able to do with the new technology, and I think a lot of us missed Assassins, and it's good sometimes to take a break because you miss it that much more and come back. And yeah, I can't wait to see. With an Assassin's game, there's always a twist and turn and another element, so I can't wait to see what you guys are doing.
Sure, and if you can, you're welcome on the booth to try it yourself, try the demo.
I'd love to play. Yeah, I know there's an arena demo, and there's lots going on, and you guys will be live at the E3 Coliseum. I know tomorrow the team will be there showing a demonstration of the game as well for fans, and we'll stream that live on YouTube, so you can check out the E3 Coliseum live tomorrow as well. All right, well, thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations on a great couple days for Assassin's Creed Origins. We've got a lot more coming up here live on YouTube as we count down to the PlayStation press conference. That'll be happening tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and you will be able to watch it only live in 4K. And also some news and notes on what we've talked about today. We got news from Randy Pitcher. The Duke Nukem movie is in the works. Beyond Good and Evil 2 was finally announced at Ubisoft, and Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot was here giving us a few more details on that piece, which was a CG piece, but apparently the actual game will be shown at E3 behind closed doors. Ubisoft also announced Skull and Bones, a new pirate-based IP inspired by, of course, Assassin's Creed Black Flag and a lot of the great pirate sequences there. And also, Destiny 2 will be available on the PC through the Blizzard app. We talked to Eric Hirschberg about that. We're hoping to get news soon on when it's going to ship for the PC. At the Destiny 2 reveal event, I broke the news that Bungie was not willing to confirm it was going to come out on September 8th on PC alongside the console versions, but we will hopefully find out more about that. And Luke Smith from Bungie will be joining us later, and Mark Noseworthy to talk about Destiny 2. So if you have questions for those guys, hit me up on Twitter at Geoff Keighley, and we'll ask those to the Destiny team. But right now we're going to move on to another Ubisoft title, and here now with The Crew 2 is executive producer Ahmed Boukhalifa. Is that close?
Yes.
Ahmed Boukhalifa, good to see you. So let's talk about The Crew 2. Very cool trailer that we got to see there.
Thank you.
New York City, Madison Square Garden, it felt like, with the Ubisoft version or something I saw.
Yeah.
So, The Crew 2 racing titles. We saw Forza yesterday, but The Crew, this is a franchise that I think, has a very cool sort of action bent to it. Tell us a bit about The Crew 2. Where is it set?
Well, The Crew 2, it's a big, gigantic, open world, online USA. Where you can go from coast to coast, all over the place,
so all
open
of the US.
world, all of the US, and it's more diverse and more beautiful than ever. And in this world, well, for this time, of course, you can drive all around with all kinds of cars in the street, on the roads, off-road, but also in the air and in the waters, in the seas, in the rivers, because this time around we bring you not only all the ground vehicles, but any motorized vehicles you can imagine.
Oh, wow, okay. So we're going to obviously get planes, trains. Got trains in there?
Trains maybe one day, but this time we'll focus on planes and boats and cars and bikes. So here
jet skis?
Jet skis, no, because we're staying with, we maybe later.
Maybe
we have a very
DLC.
long list, and this time around, what's The Crew in our DNA, it's an online game, it's a massive game, and when we release it, it's only the beginning. And we know that we will push more and more and more a diverse experience.
Right.
So here, for example, we're switching to speedboats.
Yep.
And what's very interesting for us is like in the game today, you will have 4 main families, which you will discover through your exploration of the world: off-roaders, street racer, pro racer, and freestylers, and each bringing very specific disciplines, very specific kind of vehicles, and that will each have their specific skills you will need to master in driving, and with specific progression, of course, and challenges.
Wow, well, it's amazing to see that you guys have, cars aren't enough. All of the US isn't enough. Let's add boats. Let's add helicopters, planes.
So planes, helicopters, we are working on it.
Jet ski DLC, helicopter DLC. I'm calling it right
actually,
now.
It's never ending. And actually here for E3 with the build, you'll be able to play on the floor. What we wanted to bring is like, okay, we've been street racing in New York, but what would we do if we had planes on the Hudson River, or if we could do aerobatics and race with planes throughout downtown Manhattan. And well, actually, I think we nailed it pretty well because you know, just trying to get your pass through the high-speed building, trying to get the curves, playing with the air currents, creates really, really unique experience.
So tell me about, you know, it's one thing to say you're going to do all of the U.S., but I mean, how do you create that? I mean, are you guys taking kind of like Google Maps data and then building like the cities on top of that? Like, how do you actually make the U.S.?
Well, when we make the US, it's of course, well, looking at the US, going through the US, and looking at all the and feeling the experience and what is it to be in New York, what is it to go from New York to LA, what are the key places, the key locations, the weather, and then we create to put that all into one single box to recreate this experience with the right sense of distance, of speed, but also density and
so how, like, obviously we're looking at incredible stuff in New York, but how dense is the environment? If someone lives in, you know, Dallas, will they be able to like drive up to their house?
Actually, what we wanted to do is not to recreate the actual real size US, but get the best of the US and put it into the box. So today, yeah, we have a gigantic US. The whole map's like 120 kilometers per 80, so it's truly gigantic. But it's maybe 1/10 of the actual US map.
So sort of the highlights of
so it's really the highlights and big enough to give you a sense of the distance. And this time around, bringing in, allowing you to rediscover with very different vehicles, with the boats, with the planes, and getting a very different sense of perspective really makes the experience very different. So here, of course, it's flying over the building of Manhattan, but in the distance you will see Brooklyn or you will see New Jersey. Here we are going into the north of New York with another very, very different experience this time, which is on an off-road race where you can go anywhere. You have some sense of where you need to go, but then it's really open and it's really for you to find the best path and to outsmart your opponents.
Wow. Well, it's so cool to see that you guys are pushing in different directions with the crew too. I'm sure it's going to be very fun, and it'll come out later this year.
It's going to. It's coming out earlier next year.
Early next year.
Early
2018. The crew 2. Get ready for it. It looks very cool. Ahmed, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great to see you. We've got more Ubisoft game developers popping by, and of course, keep saying it, but there's one big press event left today. Nintendo has a spotlight tomorrow, but tonight, PlayStation. I mean, last year they had that full-on orchestra. I don't know how they're going to top themselves, but we will watch it all live together with you at 6 p.m. Pacific, just about 3 hours time, so stay tuned for that. Right now, though, I'm going to head back to Melanie Mack. She's got a heat map up, see what people are talking about. Look, they're talking about Canada. I'm Canadian.
That's right, Geoff. We've got this big map right here, all these glowy things. These are all of you guys right here, just filling up the world. And Mike 3KP, that's right, Canada, eh? Turn it on right after work there, bud. All right, I got a lot of love for you guys in Canada. I grew up like right on the border of New York and Canada, so you know. All right, Ryan says, watching from the capital of Serbia, best night ever. That's so great, Ryan. All right, and Nick says, watching all the way from South Africa. Wow, it's 11:30 p.m. right now. Okay, you're staying up past your bedtime. That's great. FG English says Japan. I love me some Japan, man. That's great. I still gotta visit. That's like on my bucket list. All right, JLC says watching from Portugal, Madeira Islands. I hope I pronounced that right. Okay. Tina, Croatia. You got that cute smiley face right there. Big P132, watching from the Jersey Shore, pumping our fists during the conferences. That's right, I love it. Alif says, it's 4 a.m. in Bangladesh and I'm so sleepy, but I don't want to leave. And all those sleepy emojis, wow, that is commitment. Staying up into the way early hours. A Silly Philly says, watching from the Hawaiian Islands. I was born in Hawaii, okay. I traveled like crazy. I was an Army brat, so that's why. Okay. Bio says, we are watching from Bulgaria. Wow, this is just epic. I love seeing this. I love seeing all of you from around the world. So keep sending me your tweets. Use the hashtag YouTubeE3, and I'll check them all out. But right now, back to you, Geoff.
All right, thanks very much, Melanie. We have lots more games to talk about today. And then after the PlayStation press conference, we have something like 10 or 12 developers stopping by tonight. So we're going to give you everything you need to know about E3 right here on YouTube. But right now, we're going to talk about South Park: The Fractured Butthole. Game director Jason Schroeder is here. Jason, we got to see a sneak peek of 2 South Park things in the press conference. Are you involved in both or just Fractured Butthole?
I'm involved in the Fractured Butthole.
Okay, well, let's talk about Fractured Butthole.
Okay.
This is a game that I think after Stick of Truth, everyone loved how much Matt and Trey put into that game.
Yeah.
And the fact that you guys are now developing this out in San Francisco in collaboration with them. Everyone's very excited. We've been waiting a little while on it, but I know those guys have a very key eye for quality like you, and it's never quite good enough. There's always another joke to write.
Yes, I mean, we wanted to make sure that we got as much of an authentic South Park experience as we could, and so that meant from the ground up we were building tech to try to just take show content and get it into the game as seamlessly as we could. But we just wanted to make sure it was exactly the product and the story they wanted to tell.
So tell us about what the story is this time around. Matt and Trey heavily involved in writing and voicing obviously the game. But what's New Kid gonna do? Where are we going this year?
So you're playing superheroes. Hopefully it's obvious by the amazing costumes.
Yes.
But this is the first night. Here at E3, we're showing the first night that you're a superhero. You're a sidekick to Scott Malkinson, who's Captain Diabetes.
Yes.
His only real claim to fame is that he has diabetes, and sugar makes him rage out and gives him Hulk-like strength. So you're on the trail of someone who has information about a missing cat. And so it's all a really nice, innocent story. The kids just want to find a missing cat. They want to get a $100 reward, and that's going to be enough to get their franchise off the ground. But obviously it's South Park, and so everything goes topsy-turvy as you break into a strip club.
Now, tell me about the collaborative process with Matt and Trey on this, because they are, busy guys working on lots of stuff.
Yes.
How does that work? Do they sort of, you and the game team, you sort of sit down, they give you broad strokes of ideas, and you come back with gameplay, and then they kind of write over it, or I'm sure it's very iterative.
Yeah.
Tell me about what a typical kind of how does a sequence come to life in this game?
So they voice everything, so that in a lot of ways they write everything. Like there's so much dense content you have to do for a game just for all of the combat stuff and everything. So and sometimes they're just editing, but every piece of the story they're writing, their whole South Park Studios is actually doing all the cutscenes. They do the characters. Like when it comes to major things like boss fights and stuff like that, like we have a sit down, we all get on a whiteboard, so they're involved every step of the way as directors offsite.
Wow, that's cool. And I mean, the great thing about this game, like Stick of Truth, is it looks so much like the show, and as you said, South Park Studios.
Absolutely.
Frank and those guys working with you to bring this to life. In terms of the scale and scope of this game compared to Stick of Truth, I think everyone when they played it were amazed that there was a lot of content there.
Yeah.
For this game, in terms of variety and where we're going, how does it compare to Stick of Truth in scale?
It's definitely a longer story.
Really?
I think it's the biggest story that they've ever tried to tell, and it's definitely the most content the studio's ever tried to put out for a single product. So it's like a couple of seasons sort of smashed into it, and we keep wanting to just keep everybody, don't spoil the jokes at the end of the game, and like I say, it's just trying to get into the first night.
Yes, well, getting into the first night, as you said, I'm sure they want to keep things tight because they don't want to give away too much. But it's all right. It's understandable. They want to keep things quiet. But also Stick of Truth, I mean, going to Canada, other kind of fun things in this game. Are there other types of gameplay that we will see? I mean, if you can't spoil the narrative around it?
Yeah, I mean, like this year you have to try to get information out of a guy. So that starts easy enough that you're going to do like a little lap dance, but because you're the new kid and your farts make you special, you're sort of farting and dancing on the guy, and that loosens him up a little bit and gets him to talk. So like just trying to surprise people and get those little extra ways of controls and mini games in. Definitely still part of the game.
Awesome. All right. Well, we can't wait to see more of it. And you guys have put a stake in the stand coming out this fall, right?
Yep, October 17th.
We really going to make it this year?
Absolutely.
With confidence. All right. South Park: The Fractured Butthole. You get it? Thanks very much.
Oh, what? Oh, I get it.
All working out. All right. Well, we'll look forward to hearing more about that. And now we're going to head over to the demo area to talk about another Ubisoft game. You see, they announced so many games and talk about so many things. We've got so many developers to talk with. So now we're going to talk about Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and lead producer Xavier Manzanares.
Yes.
Did I get that right? Manzanares?
Yes. Perfect.
Zav, good to see you. We saw you up on stage there. So first of all, I mean, Miyamoto on stage with you. When did you first get to meet Mr. Miyamoto?
It's more than 3 years, so it was 3.5 years ago.
Wow.
And we came with this concept.
So tell me about this meeting. So you're, you know, I guess you hear there might be interest in Nintendo talking to you about something, and you fly to Kyoto.
Exactly.
And you have a meeting with Shigeru Miyamoto to pitch your game to him?
Exactly. So he was with his design team, and we came with this idea, and he loved it. So we had a prototype.
But how nervous were you? I mean, that's
super nervous because when you enter the room, you feel the aura of Miyamoto-san, and it's true. It works super well as well, and so a lot of respect, but as well, he had a lot of respect for what we showed as well. So it was crazy.
Were you showing him kind of visuals and what?
Yeah, so we had the visuals. We had as well a prototype because you know, in terms of design, we really wanted to see and feel if it's something that could go on to something great. So
So 3.5 years ago, you had a first kind of test bed.
Exactly.
To see the idea.
Yes. So just the first, let's say, glimpse into what the system is today, and it was surprising, a bit different as well, really different from what they were doing. So it went very well, and we got the green light.
Green light, and now the past 3.5 years, you've been working in secret to bring this to life. So let's take a little bit of a look here at Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. So this game, you know, obviously you got to use the characters from the Mushroom Kingdom and the Rabbids coming together. You know, why were Rabbids such a good fit for Mario? Like, why did you think that was going to be the mashup that was going to work?
Well, the Rabbids are interesting in a way that it really works well in crossovers. We did in the past with Rayman, and they're a really good template for creativity because, you know, the principle, the main aspect for the Rabbids is to surprise.
Yeah.
So basically it works really well with a character that we know very well, Mario. So the two together is bringing the surprise. So Miyamoto-san was really interested to see those two together and see how far we could go in terms of the crossover itself.
Wow. So, you know, I think a lot of people, obviously, there were some things that leaked over the past few months that this game might be in existence, but I think people didn't really know what to expect. And the fact now, I think everyone online is saying, like, wow, this looks even cooler than I thought it was going to be in terms of the type of gameplay and the characters and how it's involved. So tell us a bit about, you know, what the actual game system is. Like, how are we playing this game?
So it's a tactical adventure game. So basically, we're big fans of turn-based gaming. So we thought this would be a perfect fit, you know, to surprise and see how different it could be for Mario as well. And then in terms of the turn-based aspect and the tactical aspect, we added a lot of action. So it's direct into the action. When we'll see a bit of the gameplay itself, you know, the UI, it's not really complex. What we wanted to add is to be straight into the action and then add, you know, depth. So we wanted to, change a bit the approach into something that we love. So turn-based between the characters themselves, the heroes, the enemies. We have mid-bosses, bosses. So we change all the time, you know, things that we give to the players and the challenges we have in the game.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really cool how it looks. Also, amiibo support. People want to know. Are you going to support amiibo?
Yes, we'll support amiibos from the Mario amiibos, Yoshi, Peach, and Luigi. And we also have collectibles. Our own figurines that we'll have as well for the game itself.
Will there be Rabbids amiibo or just collectibles?
No, just collectibles.
Collectible Rabbids.
Yes.
Okay, well that's kind of fun. But you'll get, obviously, so all amiibos will sort of be able to be a part of it in some way, or just certain ones?
So Nintendo amiibos will be there to unlock surprising elements, and then for the collectibles themselves, it will be our heroes as well, the Rabbids heroes that we'll have on inside of the game.
Wow. Well, it looks, you know, it's so Nintendo, which is, you know, amazing. That's for you guys to.
We had a lot of work to do this because they wanted us to respect, of course, Mario. They wanted us to twist as well, but first it needs to be to respect, you know, the IP itself. And then we just had fun, just adding all the details and the characters, the Rabbids themselves, and Mario in this type of game as well, which was really fun to do.
So one thing I think when people first started hearing about this, were like, Mario with a gun. Like, I thought that was never going to happen. Was that sort of, when you had to explain to Mr. Miyamoto, or obviously it's not, a realistic gun, but it's the idea of some projectile weapon. Was that sort of a hill to climb to get that to happen, or how did that come to fruition?
It was part of the surprise. When we came with the first prototype, we had already cool-looking guns, quite different than the ones we have today, but it was part of the surprise. And Miyamoto-san was really interested at that part as well, because they don't look lethal. They're not like in Ghost Recon or other games that we do. Right. They're just energetic, really fun-based. We don't show it here in this video gameplay, but they also have a lot of side effects like push, bounce, honey, freeze, ink.
Yeah.
So basically, we
right.
go
So
far.
Splatoon, it's like it's
well, we like this approach and philosophy, like surprising events, and so it works well with all the weapons. We have some deployable weapons as well, like they're their own. They can just move themselves, and then you have some side effects to this, so it works really well.
Well, that's cool. No, and you can tell why Nintendo responded to it, because there's so much strategy, I'm sure, to it, which is cool. So
that's the good part we just saw, so it's a mix between exploration. So this is an example here, and combat. So you really switch from one mode to the other one.
Okay.
And here in this fight, this is a mid-boss fight.
We just look a little worried.
You see all those covers in the background as well, push covers. So depending on what you do, you have this domino effect. So if you use this type of weapons plus this type of enemy, you can have this combo system that is really interesting, really action-driven for that part. So
Well, that looks awesome. It's so cool to see you guys collaborating with the team at Nintendo on this. Which platforms are we going to play this on?
Nintendo Switch.
Nintendo Switch. I figured that was going to be the only answer. But anyways, it's cool that you guys are building this for Switch, and we'll get to check it out later this year?
Yes, end of August 29th.
August 29th, so coming soon too.
Exactly.
All right, well, it's been a long 3.5 years, I'm sure, but it's pretty cool that you get to
finally we can
be on
talk about the
stage
game.
with Miyamoto as well. So
super happy to be playable.
And that's honestly the biggest endorsement of all, right? You would come out on stage to publicly endorse it at your press conference.
It was terrific.
I can't wait to get hands-on. Clearly, you're
Thank
working
you.
on something special. Zab, good to see you, man. Thank you
see you.
very much. We're going to head on back now to the lounge, hear about our next game. And here to discuss the just-announced brand new IP, Skull and Bones. You saw that in the Ubisoft press conference. Is creative director Justin Farron. Justin, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing
Good
great.
to see you. Ubisoft Singapore, right?
That's this is our first game we've made as a lead studio.
Right. You
It's
guys
a
worked
brand-
on the naval stuff in Black Flag, right?
We were part of the naval team both in AC3.
Yep.
The missions that were done for AC3, we expanded on that to develop lots of naval content and combat for AC4 Black Flag.
Yep.
And that's really the incubus for the idea of creating Skull and Bones.
Wow. Well, so I think you've said it right there. But sort of you looked at the excitement people had around that content in Assassins. Why did you want to sort of break off and do build a world that was different than Assassins?
Well, the idea of being a pirate is a base fantasy. It's something we've all wanted to do since we were little kids. And that's where the passion started in terms of making a game about pirates. We wanted to make something that really appealed to what our fans were asking for. If you look back at a lot of the comments and feedback we got, the research we did, everybody was saying we want to have Black Flag but multiplayer. We want to have naval combat, an opportunity to be a pirate and be engaged in that fantasy with my friends and against other players. And so that's been our approach, is to create a multiplayer first world, an opportunity where a player can really immerse himself in the full fantasy of being a pirate.
Wow. So tell us a bit about the fiction. I mean, the character that you will play in this game. Who do you get to play, or who do you get to choose to play as?
So players will be able to choose from a lot of different captains, and that captain will go on a journey. That journey is starting out in the Caribbean and taking the King's pardon. And that's basically saying, I'm never leaving this life of being a pirate, heading for the pirate round to the southern tip of Madagascar, and then reaching the Indian Ocean, which for us is the largest, biggest playground and hunting ground for a pirate at the time during the golden age of piracy.
Wow. All right, so get lots of choices, and online will be a big part of this as well, right?
Well, we're an online game. We're multiplayer first. We will have an opportunity for players to both sail solo as well as to form a gang of pirates. You saw today our PvP demo, and it's an opportunity for us to show the diversity of our gameplay. But players will be able to engage in the hunting grounds, which is basically an opportunity for a pirate to feel like a predator. It's hunting and ravaging the trade routes of the Indian Ocean, and you're able to do that alone, but it's a multiplayer world.
Okay, and tell me about my ship, or how do I get to upgrade it? Where do you start versus where you can?
Well, our approach is very traditional RPG archetypes. Things that players will understand if they play other type of games. In the demo itself, you see that we have 3 unique play styles and classes and ship types. Now these reflect, again, a lot of the sensibilities you have in other games. This ship here is basically almost, it takes almost like a sniper role. It's a sloop of war, and his goal is to basically do high damage from a distance using his long nines. And I don't know where we're at in the video, but it allows you to really strike. And here you can see the enemy team using your spyglass.
Wow, visually it looks really stunning. Is it the same kind of Assassin's engine that you've just kind of continued to build on?
We built the game from the ground up.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The most amazing thing, I think, and the thing that we're very, very proud of, is the ocean itself is fully replicated. So our multiplayer is on dedicated servers, and every movement that you see, the physics-based ocean is something that every player will experience collectively.
Wow. So obviously, water technology is a big part of it. You said it's online based, so how is this going to roll out to fans? Are you going to let fans in early to sort of help test it with you and build it, or what's the role?
We've already started doing that. We have a core group of dedicated
Those guys are lucky.
fans.
The game's not even announced. You're like, yeah, we've had fans in there for a while.
They get to play it more than I do.
How do they get in?
It's just reaching the right audience, finding people who are passionate about the genre, people who are passionate about Ubisoft games.
Cool.
But we do have online phases that are opening now, so you can sign up now, get more information, and get involved. The biggest thing for us is to get people involved to help shape the game. The community is what the game is for.
Yeah. And as you said, online, so I'm sure it's going to continue to evolve over time in terms of feature set, where we're going to be able to go. But, when you say online, is it true kind of massively multiplayer? Like you'll have everyone in the same world?
Well, it's a shared world, a shared systemic world. It's a world where when you take action, the world reacts. As we launch, we're starting in Madagascar, which is what you can see here, the beautiful world. It's basically the Mozambique Channel. And over time, we're going to add new regions and areas for the player to explore. If you think about the fishbowl of the Caribbean versus the mass expanse of the Indian Ocean, we have a huge canvas to paint and tell our story.
Wow, well, it definitely looks like there's a lot to this game, and it's so cool that fans are going to be able to get in. So they can actually sign up now, and you're going to start.
Absolutely,
wow. Okay, cool. And I saw it was going to be spring 2018 is when it's officially going to come out.
2018.
2018. Sorry. Don't want to pin you down any further than.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm very excited to get it in the hands of people at the E3 floor. Come out and play it, and get it in your hands and feel it. See what it's like to be a pirate on the Indian Ocean.
And it's really cool to see Ubisoft Singapore getting its
we could not be prouder.
That's awesome. Well, that's what I love about Ubisoft. Studios all around the world doing interesting things, and Skull and Bones is a great example of what you guys have been able to put together. So
thank you very much.
Thanks very much, man. Really good. Appreciate it. All right, so much more. Now we're going to head on over to the demo area to talk about Far Cry 5, and lead writer Drew Holmes is with us. Drew, how are you? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
All right, so you guys stirred the internet up a few weeks ago.
Yes.
With Far Cry 5, and Far Cry always somewhat unexpected, but this game, and we saw Dan on stage there, you're very upfront about the state of affairs in the world, how people feel about the world, and sometimes video games can be flippant and fun, but Dan and you, I know, talked a lot about being in Montana, meeting people there. This game, felt like there was a lot of emotion behind this concept for you guys to build this game. How hard was it internally to sort of pitch this idea of doing this game that is about, sort of people that are very afraid about what's happening in the world?
Yeah, I think that bringing Far Cry to America was something the team was wanted to do for quite some time. And it was more about what's a place that felt Far Cry-ish. I think for us, Far Cry is about a space that feels like a frontier. There's lots of exploration opportunities, things that feel dangerous in terms of not just the people that live there, but the animals. Yeah. And when the team went to Montana and started to meet the people and see the landscape, it immediately felt for us that Montana was the best place to bring Far Cry. Yeah. And so we created this fictional county of Hope County, Montana, where this militant doomsday cult has taken over the space, led by Joseph Seed. They believe that the world's about to end, and they're preparing for that.
Absolutely. Now we're looking at some of the first gameplay here. You guys put out some
Yeah.
trailers. So yeah, tell us about, Far Cry is known for an open world sort of setup and a lot of different gameplay types. Where does this game start? Where in this world? How does it begin?
It starts with you. For the first time ever, we're allowing you to customize your own character.
And male or female.
Male or female.
Yeah.
So because I think for us it was more about putting you in a situation where you felt uneasy and unsure of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So the character that you're playing is a rookie sheriff's deputy for Hope County, Montana.
Yeah.
And the game starts with your very first day on the job. You're traveling in with a group of other sheriff's deputies to arrest Joseph Seed, the father.
Yeah.
Things quickly spiral out of your control, and you find yourself alone in the middle of the county with no one coming to help you.
And Dan told me about that first scene, which sounds crazy.
Yeah,
You're in
yeah.
that car and I don't want
It's-
to spoil it.
It's
but
intense. Yeah, I think that Joseph Seed, the actor we've cast, Greg Brick, has done a marvelous job. I think he's bringing something that is very haunting, very spooky, and something I don't think that we've seen in a Far Cry experience before. But yeah, the thing that we're really proud about this time around is sending you in a space that you're going to be able to go anywhere at any point in time right from the start of the game. We're showing off a demo today. Falls End is sort of one of the towns in Hope County.
Mm-hmm.
It's a place that you could find early on in the game or maybe later on. We're not sending you on a strict linear path in terms of the missions this time around. You're going through the world and building a resistance against the cult.
Now tell me a bit about not the flippant fun, but sort of the adventuring of Far Cry and how that squares with, you're talking about cults, you're talking about doomsday preppers. I mean, very heavy subjects.
Sure.
So how do you guys balance that sort of, the authenticity with, as we saw a guy, running a piece of, lawn mowing machinery over someone. It's like, and that's, fun and flippant, but how do you strike that right tone? Because I think it's a very, it's an interesting topic, but it's also very hard to sort of thread that needle.
Sure, but I think that's also the Far Cry secret sauce. We take things so we do a lot of research in terms of the setting and the characters and who is going to feel like they belong in this place, something that's believable, but maybe not necessarily realistic, because we really want players to engage in the toys that we're giving them and have a lot of fun and carve their own way through the world. I think Far Cry at its best is when you're going, I wonder what happens if I do X, and then the mayhem that ensues. We like to call it the anecdote factory. It's about giving players a lot of different things and just experimenting to see what happens.
I'm sure there will be many different things. We saw obviously some stuff with planes and a lot of different members of Hope County that you're going to interact with. So from a narrative perspective, how much of you're telling the story? I assume kind of all in game.
Yeah. We've it's this time around, it's a very non-linear approach to the way that we're telling the story. Like I said, Falls End is one of the towns that's in the game. We're building communities that, as you progress through the world, you're looking for people to join your resistance and build an army against the cult. You're going to meet people that they're going to send you on little quests to go, okay, someone had their truck stolen, or Nick Rye, who we see in the demo, the cult's trying to steal his plane, and he's just trying to look after his wife and his pregnant wife. It's all these little sort of vignettes, story vignettes, that as you're building this resistance, you're raising your resistance meter. The bad guys are going to then insert themselves into your story. So my path through the game and the story that I sort of carve out isn't necessarily going to be the same as other people's.
Wow. All right. So everyone will have a different choice how they adventure through it, but obviously lots of different missions and adventures. As you guys work on sort of playing and writing this game, tell us about some of the different mission types that you're most excited about, because again, Far Cry is about sort of doing anything, but you have to balance that against sort of the density of the experience and having really sort of tightly, scripted moments or missions.
Sure.
So what are some of the types of, experiences that we're going to have that you think are really, dialed in at this point?
Well, I think that it's just the variety that we're giving people this time around. For instance, like we're showing off the plane combat right here. This is Nick Rye, who I said earlier owns a plane. You're going to meet him. He's going to say, I need some help, right? Take my plane, fly around, blow up some stuff, just cause as much mayhem as possible. I think that there's some other characters in other regions that we aren't quite talking about yet, but I think that it's going to be the most varied and innovative Far Cry experience yet.
And the world is sort of completely open from the beginning for everyone?
Yeah. The minute that you're sort of left behind and you're on your own, it's really up to you to figure out where you're going to go, who you're going to talk to, and how you're going to defeat the cult.
All right, well, it's going to be quite the adventure, I think. And yeah, I'm really, even the character vignettes that I'm sure many of you guys saw online really, grabbed me, and we used them in some of the trailers promoting the show because there were such great lines for some of these characters, and I'm really interested to learn kind of more about those characters. So
yeah, it was a goal of ours really to not just focus on the bad guys this time around. Far Cry's always been known for its villains,
right.
And we certainly have that, not just one villain, but 4 very distinct villains this time around. The Project at Eden's Gate and the family, but making sure that the characters that you met in the world that were going to be on your side felt real, felt believable, and that you could empathize with them and want to spend more time with them than I think you might have with other characters in past.
All right, well, it's definitely a game that will be talked about this year, Far Cry 5, and we'll get to check it out early next year, right?
Yes, February 27th, 2018.
All right, so it'll be a long holiday season for the team up in Montreal, but worth it for Far Cry 5. All right, thank you very much, Drew.
Thanks,
Melanie Mack, what are they saying on the internets?
Hello, Geoff. I asked everybody to send me their beautiful faces with a selfie of them watching E3, all the goodness that's going on right here, and they delivered. Look at this. So many faces here. Dave says, just hanging out with Geoff at E3. Look, he's like, it looks like he's judging him. Come on. But he's being nice. Okay. Shock Mouths right here says, this how I E3. Wow, that is this too sexy for the internet? I think it is. That is, wow, that is beautiful. And right here, Pearly Meg says, watching E3, can't wait for Sony's conference. We're all excited too, and oh my gosh, look at you. You are so beautiful. I love that wonderful smiling face right here. And Deku says, Assassin's Creed Origins, I want it now. I agree, man. I totally agree with you there. And right here, Klob says, hyped for Sony. That's right. I love your beautiful blonde hair there. It's so nice. So very nice. And right here, Ben says, having a night in with the boys and our favorite host, Melanie Mack. Rock on, sister. That is just beautiful. You've got yourself like a little blanket cocoon there. This is great. I'm right here with you in spirit and obviously kind of in person as well. All right. I love it. Okay, and then Bam here says, love the newly announced games, dying to take a bite out of them. Oh, I feel ya. I can relate. Wow, chilling now. Come on, guys. I want to be there at E3 so bad. Can someone give me a ride, please? Oh, he's like, somebody take me to E3. I'll see if I can get you in time, all right? Right after this, I'll be on the way. Okay. A purple unicorn says, ready for COD World War II. Midnight here. All right. Look at that. That's what's up, man. Okay, and next here, all right. Lovely Moon Bunny says, watching YouTube E3, can't wait for some new amazing games and to hear what's coming up from PlayStation. I feel you, girl. Beautiful. All right, well, it was so great seeing all of your lovely faces. Thank you so much. Keep sending me your tweets and let me know your predictions for the PlayStation conference tonight. So we're going to go back to Geoff now.
That's right, lots of predictions for the PlayStation press conference coming up live here on YouTube in 4K in just a couple hours, 9 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to tune in. Sony always puts on a great show. But right now, we're going to do a live demo playthrough of LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2. With me is the co-creative director for TT Games, Arthur Parsons. Arthur, a few weeks ago, you were here in LA and showed me it. You went home. Now you're back again.
I did, yeah. I went home just for a little bit, but yeah.
And we're back again to take a look at this. So LEGO, the LEGO series, fans obviously love so many different franchises. Today we're talking about LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2. Coming from Warner Brothers, it's so cool that you guys get to play with Marvel and Disney, and it all works out because everyone loves these games that TT make.
They do, yeah, absolutely. And for us, the Marvel franchise is a great franchise that we've been to twice, but specifically LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2 we're so excited to go back to because when we left the first game, we kind of finished it and left it open-ended, knowing where we wanted to go. And, it's just amazing. The whole team are super excited to be back on this. And it's good being able to go straight in with Guardians because Guardians 2 was such a great movie. So we kind of kick off the game with Guardians, but the story flows between, I think it's something like 35 different characters that are in and out in the core story arc. in a whole new adventure. You know, the main bad guy this time is Kang the Conqueror, and we're not just saving the Earth this time. We're actually saving the entire Marvel universe. It's pretty epic in scale.
Yeah. So is it literally everything? Is anything in Marvel off limits, or you got it all in here?
We've got pretty much everything we want in there. You know, and in terms of like an open world, we're going on a huge scale. We've got this place called Chronopolis, so comic book buffs will know this is Kang's city. 20 different Marvel environments, and it's about time. All these different characters and environments from out of time is everything that we're looking to do here. So it's a joy to go back to this universe, and I think since we've announced the game, people are just so excited about everything that we're doing.
Oh yeah, no, I can't wait to see sort of where you guys are going to go with it. And again, with Lego, you're getting the fact that you can transition between so many different characters. Hot Swap, obviously inspired by Guardians here, but I know we're going to get to a lot of other cool characters. And
oh yeah, definitely.
The key art definitely has everything involved in a cool way.
Yeah, and that's it. The fact is right there on the box art, you've got Spider-Man 2099, and it's that thing. You've got Captain America, Wild West Captain America, Kirby's classic version, and everything is in there. A complete mix-up of characters, but the characters also bump into each other, which is really, really cool. So you're going to have different versions of the same character from out of time interacting with each other, and having those sort of riffing off each other. It's great, and the humor is obviously something that's key to the Lego games.
Well, and creatively for the TT Games team, I'm sure this is a title that allows you a lot of freedom, where sometimes you guys have done, more literal kind of movie translations and things like that, using dialogue from the films, and obviously still have a lot of fun with them. But this one, you really got to sort of do whatever you wanted, right?
Yeah, and being able to go off of a blank piece of paper, basing the story, or it's kind of inspired by a couple of my favorite comic book runs, the Kang Dynasty being one of them. And the cool thing is, we got Kurt Busiek, who's the guy that wrote those runs, to kind of come in and co-write the story with us. And it kind of has that authenticity that you can't get without a Marvel comic book writer. So the interactions between the characters, the way that they kind of affect the whole story. It's really epic, and we wanted to make sure that the story was king in this. So there's some like awesome plot twists along the way. Opening the game with a boss fight against the Celestial is pretty epic, but it just goes bigger and bigger the longer you are in the game. I can't wait for people to play it. And E3, obviously, we've got real life consumers.
Yes,
first time ever.
I know.
I'm kind of excited and scared at the same time.
Friends and family will all be there checking it out, which is cool. And I mean, this is, as you said, like a truly, epic scale. And that's why I think the Lego, people say Lego games and think, I'm not sure. And then they see it, and there's so much detail, so much love and care that the TT Games team always puts into it. You never get bored of Lego, because it's like you can do so much with it. And you guys have refined such an amazing style to how these games play. Look at the amount of action on screen here.
That's it. It's the amount of stuff you can interact with. It's just a huge amount of stuff. And every character as well has a unique personality, because people know these characters from screen or from comic books. We need to make sure that every character sort of does exactly what someone that plays the game is going to want them to do. So, Star-Lord can fly around and do all that cool stuff they've seen in the movies, but he also can put his Walkman on and listen to his mixtapes. And every character gets that treatment. The roster is like huge, absolutely huge. And it's still not finished, to be fair, because people keep sort of messaging us. It's like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if this character's in? Wouldn't it be cool if that character's in? And so we're kind of just adding characters all the time. But the team have kind of fully engaged with this, mainly because we knew we were going to come and make this game kind of 4 years ago. So
wow, it's been really 4 years you guys have been had on the plans.
Marvel 1, was what was it? It was the launch of PS4, wasn't it? So 2013 October time.
Wow.
And the post credits for Marvel 1 set this game up right at the very end, and we knew where we were going with it.
You got to have the end credits scene, right? Just like a Marvel film.
Yeah, it's like true believers stay past the end credits, but. It's an absolute delight, but for me, it's all about giving the players what they want. And they've asked for a bigger open world, a bigger roster, more varied, personality within the characters, and more new gameplay.
Right.
So we're really pushing the envelope on this one. And also with a comic book style, we've kind of shaken up what makes a Lego game. Kept the DNA of a Lego game, but tried to make sure everything has had something new and exciting, from the customizer to the status screens to just actually the way the roster's implemented. It's a pretty exciting game to work on, actually.
Absolutely. Well, it looks like there's a lot going on there. Very cool. Arthur, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks, Jeff.
Give us a sneak peek at Lego Marvel Superheroes 2. We will check that out at E3 on the show floor. We are counting down to the PlayStation press conference coming up at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Always a great time. You can watch it live in 4K right here on YouTube. But before then, we've got more game developers coming by to show you their games. We're going to start talking about some of the things that everyone's speculating about. What is Sony going to say tonight? We know, obviously, at the E3 Coliseum tomorrow, there's going to be a big God of War and Spider-Man panel that will be live on YouTube. We'll be streaming that from the new kind of panel arena that I'm producing for E3. So we would hope that there'd be news on those games tonight. And of course, there have been some teasers online. It looked like Quantic Dream, the team behind Detroit, they were sort of teasing. Their Twitter became active this morning, so a lot of people are saying maybe that will be there. Lots of potential PlayStation games that could be on stage, and of course all those third-party titles. Nothing's been confirmed, but typically Call of Duty will show up on the stage of its console partner. That's been PlayStation for the past couple of years, so we would hope that we'd get to see something in Call of Duty World War II. Lots of possibilities. We're going to find out what Sony has for us in store tonight with the media showcases, they're calling it this year for PlayStation, and of course YouTube will be your spot to watch it live across all the platforms in 4K. Well, we're used to seeing some pretty big explosions here at E3, but this summer, Charlize Theron is going atomic. The Oscar winner explodes into Atomic Blonde, an action-packed thriller that follows a lethal assassin through a city simmering with revolution and traitors. James McAvoy, Sophia Boutella, and John Goodman also star. Check out this clip from Atomic Blonde, which is in theaters July 28th.
Ja, nicht, die sind im dritten Stock. Schnell die Treppe hoch.
All right, that's Atomic Blonde in theaters July 28th. We've got a lot going on as we count down to the PlayStation press conference. Right now, we're going to head on over to our YouTube Creators Lounge to hear thoughts on E3 from the perspective of some of YouTube's top creators. And joining us right now are Nadeshot and iJustine, along with Alexander Gross and Ellen Rose. Guys, take it away. We can't wait to hear what you think of E3.
Hey guys, what's going on? I'm here with all of my friends.
Thanks for introducing me. My name is Matt, also known as Nadeshot. I'm here with iJustine.
Hello, hi.
Hi, I'm Alex, also known as Octopimp.
Hi, and I'm Ellen from Outside Extra.
Awesome. So, a lot of stuff
already happening now, what is your favorite thing you've seen so far?
There's been so much.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually been kind of overwhelming.
Yes.
I was actually pretty impressed with the Ubisoft press conference.
Yeah, me too.
It was way
Yeah.
better than I thought. Because
Yeah.
usually, like, they have, like, especially the Just Dance numbers are usually, you know, not the best. But I thought BB Rex actually was pretty incredible.
That was pretty cool. I give that conference an A for all right, because, first of all, where's Tonic Trouble? Come on, guys. I want a sequel to Tonic Trouble for the N64. Let's see it happen. That, you know, that's just my opinion.
I'm a huge Far Cry fan. Okay, Far Cry Primal wasn't the biggest fan. Far Cry 4, because basically Primal I feel like was just like a reskin of 4.
Yes.
But man, 5, I'm excited. Me and my sister are huge Far Cry fans.
I'm here for one reason and one reason only.
Oh boy, here we go.
Sony conference. We're getting the Call of Duty World War II reveal. They've gotten rid of Creative Class. It's rumored that they might be bringing vehicles back to World War II.
And I heard you're really into the vehicles, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I love the vehicles. I think it's great for
Big
multiplayer.
vehicle fan.
Yeah, they should definitely add them in. It's the cornerstone of consistency in first-person shooters. So I'm just waiting for the Sony press conference. I was very excited about Scorpio, but still, Call of Duty's my game, and I gotta be here for that specifically.
What's it called? The Xbox One X?
Yes.
Yeah, Xbox One X. Yeah, they
Can't
got
wait
rid of
for
Scorpio.
I can't wait for Xbox One XX Accent Core Plus R.
Yeah.
When's that coming out, guys? Let's see it happen. Yeah.
I just got back from the Microsoft Showcase. I played some Sea of Thieves.
Okay.
It was actually
amazing.
fun.
It's really
'Cause
good.
It's like it doesn't take itself too seriously,
No,
but like
no.
it's super fun, and it was just great to sort of like play with a bunch of people that I didn't even know. And we were
Yeah.
having a really good time.
Did you say Sea of Thieves?
Yes.
Oh my God, I played it last year
Yeah.
at E3 when it was in like closed alpha.
Pre-alpha.
Pre-alpha?
Yeah.
I can't wait because that was the one game. It won a bunch of awards
Yeah.
that I was super intrigued by.
Now,
it was pretty fun.
is it just me, or are there a lot of pirate games coming out? Like, a lot of pirate games
This
coming
is
out.
Skull and Bones.
Skull and
at
Bones, Sea of
Ubisoft.
Thieves.
Everyone's catching up to One Piece.
Yeah, it's
That's
true.
really what it comes
Yeah,
down to.
they only got 5,000 episodes to go. So get working on it now.
I've never really played much of the Assassin's Creed sort of
Oh,
franchise,
yeah.
but the new one kind of looks interesting. I'm intrigued. 'Cause
Yeah.
It seems like it's something completely different than what they've been doing in the past.
Yeah.
Well, because they usually go forward in time,
Yeah.
but now they're going way back.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's like they've updated the series as well, it seems as well. They've taken a lot of things from Far Cry, so you've got the roaming animals and everything like that, and you've got your, Eagle Pal flying over and marking
Yes.
things from Far Cry Primal. And then you've got all these RPG elements as well, so it feels like, Assassin's Creed and Witcher 3 like had a baby, and that's quite exciting for me. So
Have
That's an
we
exciting
talked
game.
about Call of Duty yet?
No, but I feel like somebody in this group wants to.
Disclaimer, really quickly,
Okay.
I do want to say, because my comment sounded a little too negative, I'm very optimistic about what Sledgehammer is going to do with World War II, and I'm very, very excited for the trailer.
I'm
this is
actually
the most
really
excited
excited,
I've been in a long time.
That's a good option select there. So let me just say right off the bat.
It did come off it, but I have a lot of faith in that studio right there, and I think they're going to knock it out of the
I
park.
do too. I mean, I think most people know that I'm like a really huge Call of Duty fan, and I didn't really play much of the last one. I played way more remastered than I actually did play with the real game. So I don't know. I'm excited.
I don't
can't
think
wait.
anybody played Infinite Warfare, but
Okay.
Wow.
Matt is laying it down
Wow.
here, guys. Can somebody clip that and just tweet it to us so we can have a quick retweet?
Let us see that again.
they've seen it on my Twitter feed for the last year. So.
That's true. That's true. But no, I have high hopes, and I'm super excited to see what they do. So it'll be great seeing it at the press conference at Sony.
Very cool.
Yeah. And there was a Bethesda, not Bethesda, Rabbids and Mario were like together.
Mario
And
XCOM, yeah. That's
Mario
fun.
XCOM, and then also the guy doing the music as well is Grant Kirkhope, who people will know from Banjo-Kazooie, Ukulele, and my personal favorite, Kingdoms of Amalur. Just a little thing out there.
Wow,
It's
shouts out.
very
Deep cuts.
so good. But he was on Twitter just being like, oh my god, I'm getting to do Mario music, and just that was such an amazing kind of mic drop moment right at the beginning of the conference.
It's really awesome.
My favorite part of the EA press conference is a GIF that I saw on Twitter, Will Smith and Fresh Prince, and it was seen.
Where the video games at?
Yeah, where are the video games?
Yeah,
They had the entire press conference, and there just really wasn't that much
Yeah.
content when it comes to video games and what they are rolling out over the next couple years. So.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see more story from Battlefront 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they didn't really mention much. I mean, we got to see a bunch of the multiplayer, but like, come on.
Yeah.
I need a little bit more info here.
If the one thing I did definitely want to touch on real fast was that Dragon Ball Z fighting game looks so good. It looks so good.
Do you watch Dragon Ball Super?
Unfortunately, yes. But that's a discussion for a different time.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, it looks really
You're
good though. Hey, Arc System Works, congrats on you for winning the fighting games forever. We love you. So that looks really good though.
Good call. I forgot about that.
Yep. Yep, it's the same people that did Guilty Gear Xrd, so it looks great.
Can't say I know much about Dragon Ball Z at all.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But
It
the
looks
trailer
good.
looked
You
really
should
cool.
feel really bad about it.
No, it's fine.
No,
You know what?
she should feel terrible.
I'm
about
sure
it.
they'll make me feel worse about something else
You know,
I've said today.
Check
so
it out
it's totally
if you like it.
fine.
It should be really good. But
It
yeah,
does look cool, though. I
it
will
does.
say that.
It looks really, really awesome.
Metro actually looks really cool. Metro
does.
Exodus
Yes.
looks
Yep.
incredible.
Yes.
For sure.
Anthem. There's been so many games. And the Nintendo hasn't even happened. And
And I would love to talk about all of them, but that's all the time we have. So thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Lots of E3 excitement amongst the YouTube influencers. Now I am joined by Built by Snowman lead producer Eli Smet, who's here to give us an exclusive first look live demo of Alto's Odyssey. You know, lots of talk about console games, PC games at E3, but mobile, look, let's face it, we all play games on our phones, and Alto's Odyssey is a game that we are so excited to see. Thank you coming all the way down from
thank you for
Canada
having
to
me.
give us a sneak peek at this. So here we are looking at this game, and again,
sure.
The attention to detail, that's what grabs everyone about this game.
Thank you so much.
And look, the pixels, it's silk smooth. It's so beautiful.
A big priority for us with Odyssey and with all the Alto games is kind of reducing this idea of noise and filtering it to the signal of any one thing. So mountains are triangles and dunes are triangles. Everything's supposed to be simple and elegant. Something we're really excited to reveal here on the show today is that where Alto's adventure was set on the home mountain, with Alto's Odyssey, we're bringing Alto and his friends outside their comfort zone and into a brand new environment. So Alto and his friends will be sandboarding through a variety of different desert locales.
Wow.
We're bringing grind rails back, but this time they're attached to balloons that move up and down. They challenge you to get new height and do new tricks. And something we're really excited to talk about is the way that every little aspect of the game is, I think, more purposefully designed. You see there, you can bounce on any balloon you encounter.
Oh, and the animations, it's so handcrafted.
Well, yeah, we want to make everything feel like it was almost done in an original hand-animated studio in some ways. So upcoming here, you see bridges that you can use to cross chasms, a little more treacherous than they were in the first game. And as we proceed here, we're introducing a brand new core mechanic to the game. We're calling it wall riding. So it's simple and it's one touch, just like anything in an Alto game. But as you approach a wall, you'll be able to tap, hold on the screen, and let go to jump right off. What this does is it kind of lets you play with height and verticality a lot more. You know, Alto games are all about moving downhill, but we wanted to think about using the sky as somewhere Alto and his friends could go. So here you see wall rides letting you get way high up in the sky, collect secret items, and move on to grind rails that you couldn't otherwise reach. And the cool thing about these wall rides is as you master them, you may find that they're the only way you can cross a chasm or get across a hazard. So as Alto approaches a chasm here, he'll need to really time that wall ride, leap off, grab an item, and continue on.
Ah.
Yeah, so
I love the sense of momentum to it. It's just this endless adventure.
you. And here, right, again, we wanted to think about the idea of dwarfing Alto in the environment. This is a world that's bigger than him. It's a desert with unknown secrets and some mysteries that he and his friends may not have encountered in their home mountain. So we wanted to start thinking about what we could do with that. Here you see these big, arced, expressive wall rides. We want the game almost to feel like ballet as you move down the mountain. So again, this idea of capturing these feelings of elegance and serenity and balletic movement here. We're also bringing the environment into play too. The desert's host to a lot of different elements. So you see here that as Alto moves along, he's going to encounter some vortexes and some wind swirls that whoosh him up into the air and over top of large balloons. And you know, we really hope that if all the moments come together just right, it'll be a really special, new, majestic experience for players.
Looks incredible, and of course, you know, even though we're seeing footage like this, it's a touch game for iOS, right?
Correct. This is a full touch game. Everything you can do, you'll be able to do with one touch. When we thought about bringing the game to this big, brand new desert space, we didn't want to overcomplicate anything. So you can play it on the plane, you can play it on the bus, you can play it relaxing at home on a Sunday. We didn't want to introduce a lot of swipes and circles and other gestures.
Wow. Well, it's again one of these games that I think you just look at it and instantly grabs you. Tell us about the team that built this. How big is Built by Snowman?
Thank you so much. So Built by Snowman is actually about 6 people big. The core artist and designer, Harry Nesbitt, who works on this game with us, is based in the UK. And he kind of leads the creative vision for Alto. So in many ways, the Alto that people kind of fall in love with comes from the mind of one person, which is something we're pretty proud of.
Wow, so Harry and then you guys are in Canada, kind of all working together?
We're all based in Canada. We kind of co-develop it and, you know, work across the country together.
Wow, well that's so cool to see that you guys were able to, you know, bring this title out. First one was pretty successful, right?
Yeah, the first one was really successful. It kind of put us in a position where we could stop and say, what do we want to do next instead of what do we have to do next to, you know, make the quick buck, and that allowed us to think, you know, instead of making an Alto sequel and calling it Alto's Adventure 2, what if we paused and said, what would a new Alto game be if it was set somewhere totally different?
Wow. Well, I got to say, it looks incredible. And when is this going to come out?
So it's coming out summer 2017, which it is right now. We haven't said much more than that. I can't reveal anything today, but a little later this summer, people will be able to get their hands on it on the App Store.
Yeah, no, I remember seeing the teaser trailer earlier this year, and it's great to see the gameplay, which is, familiar, but feels just so much more detailed and exciting. So I'm really excited to see about this. And Built by Snowman, where are you guys? Are we going to see more titles from you guys as well? Or what's the overall
absolutely.
plan?
So in addition to the Alto series, we're working on a title called Where Cards Fall, which is something that's much more narratively driven. It's about a 6-hour puzzle adventure set inside the memories of a young girl that's grown up and is reflecting on her life. And so you kind of construct houses of cards to revisit those memories. That's coming out later this year, potentially as well.
All
so
right.
It's a pretty busy year for us.
It's nice to hear about a young, independent Canadian development studio.
Thank you so much for having me on, Jeff.
No, thanks for coming down to E3, and we want to see more mobile and iOS games.
Yeah, we want to.
So it's great for you guys to be here because this is a gamer's game, right? When gamers look at this and people watch the stream, they're like, "I play that."
Yeah.
And it looks great and refined.
Thank you. And we want to bring a little bit of that artful meditativeness to that experience of gaming on the go.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait to check it out later this summer, and of course, you can follow Built by Snowman online. I'm sure you guys will be tweeting and talking about it to everybody.
We'll let people know.
Awesome. All right. Great to see you.
Thank you so much,
again
Jeff.
at the Coliseum in a few days.
Cheers.
And now we're going to head back to welcome a good buddy of mine I've known for many, many years, and now joining us is the CEO and founder. He's got a big title, but he's still my good buddy, Cliffy B. Cliff Blazensky. How you doing, Cliff?
How are things?
Good to see you.
Absolutely.
Things are great. So
that was a very smooth transition right there.
It's a long day.
You got red branded pillows here.
I know. I don't even get a break. I just walk back and forth.
Exactly. Not messing around. Good to see you, man.
So, first of all, congratulations, Lawbreakers. Release date is out there, right? August?
Yeah, so August 8th.
Yep.
We've had alphas, we've had betas. We're going to do a final closed beta June 28th.
Okay.
And then June 30th, we're opening it up. We're calling it the Rise Up Open Beta.
The Rise Up Open Beta.
Yeah,
all right.
It feels good, man. We've been working on this as of this summer for 3 years, and I really feel like we're really starting to get a lot of traction. My Twitter feed is people talking about Lawbreakers instead of chainsawing people. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, this was, a project that everyone obviously remembers you from your work at Epic and on Gears, and then you made the bold choice to kind of strike out on your own, start your own studio.
Yeah, for me, it's one of those things, we have a huge banner outside the convention center, which is the first time since Gears 1.
Awesome.
But for me, it's like, this is my studio, and we own the IP and everything, and for us to be able to, see this, to know that I could do it on my own without, Epic and Tim and Mark, it means a ton to me. So hopefully, $29.99 price point, going out, a bit lower right there, right before all the games hit during, November and December, and, give us a try, see what you think of it.
Wow. All right. So Lawbreakers, August, $29.
Yep.
What has the reaction been so far? Because you've been, when you first started out with the studio, you were very bold in saying we're going to work with the community. We don't need Game Informer. We don't need, press.
You're going to remind me of that one?
But I'm just saying, it's one of those things that,
Well, I'm at the point now where, there's so many different things fighting for everybody's entertainment dollar that I will take any friggin' thing I can. I mean, E3 used to just be showing up and doing interviews and, hey, what's up, Jeff? Good seeing you. But now I had a 3-day event where we had Twitch streamers and YouTubers come out. And
you did that last week, right?
Yeah, and showed them the game, on PlayStation 4 and PC.
Yep.
Get hands-on, and some of them actually sat me down and gave me some feedback. They're like, oh, in your low health, you could actually, change the colors.
No, those guys really play the games and really care about them.
Drifter sat me down, and he was giving me some pointers on our acceleration curves for the PlayStation 4 that hopefully we can get a little bit more tuning in that to get it just perfect before we ship. Because the aim assist feels really good on PlayStation 4, but it could always feel just a little bit better.
That's cool. All right, so embracing the community, and you've done a number of kind of tests on Steam already with fans, and you've been at PAXs and other events.
I mean, you're visible in the public eye, and I used to be a drama nerd. You want to practice your lines before you go on stage. And how many games have you seen come out and faceplant? Day one, not enough servers, you can't get online. And what they're going to do, and this, even with matchmaking, that happened with me in Gears 2. You couldn't get a game. So with this game, we're being surgical about it. I have a team of network wizards, for lack of a better term, who've been just server testing the loads on that, right? So figuring out if the game comes out and we do well and we have tens of thousands, maybe or more concurrent, can we actually handle it and can people find games? And more importantly, with it being a skill-based game, we need to make sure the matchmaking's on point.
Yep. All right, well, before we talk more about Lawbreakers, you brought something special for us.
Yep.
We've got a trailer that's going to reveal some new information, exclusive first look.
Exclusive,
Jeff. Cliff, you know how I roll, right? You don't walk on this set unless you got something exclusive. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, we'll always take care of you. But here's a first look at the just-announced Lawbreakers Harrier role. Do you want to do anything to set it up before we look at it?
Yeah, this is our 9th class or role, and I would say it's our final one, but it's not, because hopefully we're going to keep making them for you and giving them to you for free.
All right, here we go. Harrier role in Lawbreakers. Check it out.
HANA Artificial Intelligence initialized. Role analysis. Harrier. Sunshine.
Tell me I can't. I'll show you I can.
Orphaned in the streets of Birmingham, Sunshine found solace in pursuing a life fighting alongside Abaddon and the Archangels for the greater good. Strange, all of their personal details have been wiped from the grid. Contact Archangels for further information. Searching. Harrier. Baron.
Fear the killer who chooses only to smile.
Baron's family was considered collateral damage during the post-shattering Haitian Hydronium riots. He was subsequently arrested by task authorities and imprisoned for trying to intervene. Baron recently escaped confinement with a man known as Kronos and is fighting for the faction known as the Lifers. He is wanted dead or alive. Beginning Harrier combat evaluation. The Harrier is a long-range laser specialist and team support role, capable of dealing heavy damage with their beams, supporting allies in the field by increasing team damage and providing health and fuel recharging capabilities. The Harrier's primary weapon is the Shock Croc laser rifle. It fires a constant stream of hydronium-fueled particle energy that deals persistent damage in a straight line. Its alt-fire can mark enemy targets for a short duration that increase the amount of damage they receive from both the Harrier and allies. Ideal combat scenarios pair the use of the Shock Croc with skillful combat movement of the Harrier's Raycaster boots. Whatever direction the bottom of the Raycasters are pointing, high mobility ensues, resulting in the Harrier being incredibly adaptable to most all engagements. This movement is ideal for lending aid at a moment's notice. While the Harrier is known for their unique movement system and long-range damage, they also aid friendlies with deployable recharge stations, providing support in the form of health and fuel regeneration. Fascinating. Grid reports that the Harrier can manifest a beam convergence. By unifying the hydronium energies coursing through the Shock Croc and Raycasters, the Harrier can unleash a searing beam-based attack that deals massive damage for a duration of time. Evaluation summary. The Harrier is a long-range support specialist with a variety of support abilities that augment the battlefield with regen and damage boosts. Along with high-powered beam weaponry, the Harrier is a tactical necessity for successful combat operations. Analysis complete. Uploading data to the grid. HANA out.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Harrier role. Each role obviously has unique gameplay. Tell us, Harrier, what we saw there. What's unique about that?
So I have a saying. I have a lot of sayings. The best ideas.
You work hard on your sayings.
I do. Cliffisms, Geoff. Quotes. the best ideas sometimes start as a joke.
Yes.
And the designers and programmers were just hanging out in the office one day, and they're like, "Wouldn't it be cool if we had a character that had laser shoes?" And I'm like, "Do that." And they started prototyping it, and what we found is the character that can shoot laser beams from their feet that actually propel you through the air. We want, if you hit tap shift with the right timing, you gain momentum, and it's kind of an air version of tribe skiing, where you can kind of move through the map kind of seamlessly and flawlessly. And if you happen to be above anybody, you deal damage to them. Also, since this is a game where F is kick and it's melee, you come at them with both feet, and you kind of just spray the laser beams in their face. Then also the character has the main weapon, which is a Shock Croc. It's a beam, as we saw in the video. But more importantly, it's also slightly a support character. People are always asking about, can I heal people? Can I recharge their ammo, or not only ammo, but fuel in the game?
Yeah.
So basically, you land, you refuel, get right back up in the air and stay vertical, and stay with that kind of gravity-defying combat. Most importantly, also, the character can shoot a giant laser from their chest. It's kind of a modern uptake version of the Care Bear stare. Gotta label it the pop culture references, Geoff.
All right, so Harrier new, and this will be available. Is it going to be available June 28th too with the new?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
It'll be available with launch.
At launch,
but there
okay.
will be a new game type uplink available during the beta and the open beta.
Okay, open beta, June 28th, August 8th. So you're sort of, as you said, you're shipping it then, but the industry's changed so much now. It's like you're going to hopefully continue to iterate on this in many ways, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I've already played Roll 10. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's something that. Usually when you ship a game, you get bummed. It's like, there it is, it's over. And maybe you do some crappy DLC that you charge people for. Yeah. Well, first off, like I said, our maps and our modes and our characters will just show up. They'll be free. Cool. So we don't separate the audience and the servers. But it's one of those things like, usually now I'm like, I miss character 10 when I play the main game. And then hopefully I miss character 11 and 12 and so on. And hopefully the game just keeps going for years. It's that term that they use, games as service, but it's actually accurate.
Now, we got a PlayStation 4 Pro that we're going to talk about here, but you guys announced that the game is coming to PS4, PC, but no Xbox, right?
Yeah, and those Xbox fanboys are pretty salty.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, they supported you for a long time.
Oh, I believe the line on my Twitter feed was, "You're biting the hand that feeds" of the people that like made you with Gears of War.
Yeah. So what do you say to that?
Well, the thing I want to say to them is, I'm not ruling out Xbox.
Yeah.
I have a studio of 65 people, and they can only do so much and work so hard. And we made a business decision, looking at the install base of both consoles, that PlayStation made more sense initially.
Yeah.
I'm not ruling out an Xbox version. Maybe there'll be a Scorpio version later with all sorts of bells and whistles and cool things. And maybe by that time, Rolls 10 and 11 will be available, and it'll be even better than ever. And then you can play Lawbreakers on anything.
Yeah.
Maybe one day the Switch. Who knows?
Was Phil Spencer bummed out?
Dude, whenever I see Phil, we hug. You know, he and I go way back. So
no, you said it's a natural business decision, but you're right. You see people on Twitter, and if they have that purple M in their Twitter.
Especially the Xbox fanboys. Very salty.
No, they won't believe me. Yesterday,
I was sprinkling it on there.
Yesterday, I was getting a petition to be sued if I was wrong about the Xbox.
Really?
He said, "Oh well, because I put out what the price was going to be for Project Scorpio, and people couldn't believe it." But yeah, look, I mean, it's
passion.
It's passion.
I would rather have them yelling at me and calling me names than ignoring it. You know, I'd rather have that over indifference any day of the week.
All right, but it is cool. It is coming to console.
Yes.
You know, you're doing a game on PS4. How does it look on PS4 Pro?
It looks great. Yeah. So basically, across the board, it's 60 frames a second, but it's higher resolution on PS Pro. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Controls are also very important to me. You know, I'm kind of tuning, you know, the dead zone, the you know, friction and adhesion and whatnot, really making sure the controls are on point for it. And also, more importantly, on console, having different controller setups.
Yeah.
Some people like to jump around with left bumper. So we named that bumper jumper. We have like 6 pre-configurations for different players of different types.
Cool. What did you think yesterday of the Xbox One X reveal?
Honestly, I was too busy like doing interviews and dealing with everything, so I haven't paid attention to any news at all.
Right. All right. So
I saw the name and I was like, wait, what? That's kind of weird. It's like Xbox
Project
One
Scorpio
X.
sounded better, right?
Scorpio sounded like a bad tattoo in a good way.
Right, but it's something you were talking about, right? Yeah, that's the thing is it's another one in
the marketing
Xbox
rights
One
itself
Live.
gets stung.
Well, we'll see, and that's gonna, you know, like you said, maybe down the road, but obviously big focus on PC. For Lawbreakers on Steam, which is great.
Yep.
People, you know, that's where a lot of the audience is. So
Yeah,
people are
I mean,
playing it
you
there.
go where the audience is, and on a high-end rig, and you know, some of the console people were happy to have the game, but the PC players are like, oh, is this going to hurt the PC version? I'm like, no, we had to optimize the levels on PlayStation to make sure they're running at 60 frames per second, which means the PC version runs even better. So, you know, 144 frames a second is the new 60.
Yeah, well, you guys have put so much effort into this, and I got to admire that you struck out on your own, started this independent studio, brought a whole team together, and proved that you can do a game yourself. And I think a lot of people watching here appreciate that independent spirit, so hopefully they're going to check out Lawbreakers and check it out later this month, and obviously in August when it comes out. Should we sign this thing? Because you're going to give this away.
Get a good shot
to
of the
some
sexiness.
viewers, right?
Yep, we're going to give this out. Go
Custom Lawbreakers PS4 Pro.
Yep, Lawbreakers
signed,
Official on Instagram.
Signed by Cliffy B. So yeah, if you go to Lawbreakers Official on Instagram, there'll be some information there on how you guys watching might be able to obtain this signed by Cliffy B. And of course, play Lawbreakers when it comes out.
My signature is absolutely atrocious.
You have one shot at it.
My friends
There
say
you
it looks
go.
like a penis. I don't know what that means. So
a beak or something.
I got Faust dual wielding and blinking around the map omnidirectionally.
All right.
Turned out great.
A nice white PS4 Pro.
Absolutely. You can
Courtesy
win
of
that.
Cliffy B. Check it out.
Lawbreakers
on
Official
Instagram.
on Instagram.
All right, Cliff, always great hanging out with you.
Always great
Good
seeing
luck.
you.
What are you guys going to do after this? Have you decided you're going to keep kind of supporting this? Or?
We are hopefully going to keep supporting this if the game does well. I would love to be, like I said, you know, like you look at Warframe keeps going, or so many of the MOBAs keep going. But also, I have a couple other game ideas I want to do.
I think somewhere you said you're thinking about VR. Seriously?
Yeah, you know, I looked around and I had a VR pitch. I had a couple of them, but VR funding right now is still in its infancy.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do would have been $3 to $5 million for a budget, but everyone's like, yeah, too rich for my blood. And I'm like, well, you wonder why most VR games are just tech demos.
Yeah.
You know, I saw that one that's being done by Ready at Dawn that looks amazing. It's like
Lone
Ender's
Echo?
Game.
Yeah.
And it's like, finally, we're going to get some real VR games that aren't just tech
Yeah.
demos. Oh, look, I can take a box and throw it across the room. You know, you're going to be in that VR space with people experiencing Zero G. I guess I kind of like low grav.
Yep. All right, so probably not VR, but thinking of other ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, Boss Key, obviously, you know, you got a lot of games left in you, so I'm sure you're thinking of.
Grab me later on. I'll give you a peek at my phone of some stuff.
All right.
Exclusive.
That's right. You never know. Maybe we'll see you at the Game Awards. All right. Well, Cliffy B, great to see you. Good luck with E3 this week. We'll check out more Lawbreakers. Melanie Mack, looks like people are getting ready for the PlayStation Media Showcase, which is just about an hour away. Everyone's assembled down at the Shrine Auditorium. What are they saying on social media about PlayStation?
That's right, Jeff. The hype is real. We've got so many tweets. Everybody's super excited about the conference. And right here, got my pass to see PlayStation E3 conference at the theater. Sold out show too. That is intense. And look at this. Is that made out of metal? That is like fancy. The stars with the X, square, triangle, circle. I like it. Patrick says, thank you, PlayStation, for the great E3 2017. Look, they're VIP. Wow. I am so jealous right now, come on. And then Ars Technica says Sony's E3 press conference kicks off in a few hours. We're in, well, it's shorter than a few hours now, but when this was tweeted, okay. We're in getting early hands-on and also watching Mark Cerny, I'm sorry, okay. Watch the people play Knack 2. And look at this, Sony always goes all out. They like have the best setups. They had like a live orchestra last year, which is just insane. Good stuff, and here we go again, look at this. It's beautiful. Hats off to PlayStation for throwing a hell of a shindig. I feel you, man. And look at this, PS4 Elite tweets PlayStation, Sony, show up to E3 2017 like, oh, burn. You know, I think Xbox had a great conference though, so it's gonna be tough to beat, but Sony, they have been so on point that I think they could possibly do it here. Harley says, hopefully Sony shows off some great stuff. I don't know if my PS4 can collect any more dust and survive much longer. Harley, have you not played Horizon Zero Dawn? Nier Automata? Persona 5? You gotta dust that off, man. There's so many great games that came out recently. All right, and Victor says, the F win. Hideo Kojima shows up at the PlayStation conference, and look at that. They've got a Geoff Keighley mask and everything. I think everybody wants to see some Death Stranding there. You can't get enough of that Norman Reedus booty. I hope I can say that on here. Okay. Adam says, it's almost time for the Sony conference. Ready and hyped up. That's right, Adam. We're all excited. And here we go. Dan says, waiting to see if PlayStation kills the show again. E3 2017. And there's Sonic right there, tapping that foot. All right, so I want to see your predictions. So tweets using hashtag YouTubeE3. Let me know what you want to see and what you expect to see at the Sony conference, and I'll check it out. But right now, we're going to go back to you, Geoff.
All right, thank you very much, Melanie Mac. People are definitely getting ready for the PlayStation E3 Media Showcase. And again, the only place you can watch that in 4K Ultra HD is right here on YouTube. We'll have the complete show for you starting at 6 o'clock, about an hour from now. It's expected to run under 90 minutes. I think Sony's going to do a great, tight show. And last year was an E3 press conference for the record books. Ubisoft had a great show today, so we can't wait to see how PlayStation caps things off tonight for our live coverage. But right now, we get to talk about some other really cool games. And here now with Ian Jones, Cordy?
Yeah.
I got it right. All right, Ian Jones Cordy, Toby Jones, and Nathan Vella from Cappy Games, and they have graced us with the first ever look at OKKO Let's Play Heroes. Nathan, this is exciting because I remember last year we were talking, I think in the summer, and you said, I got this really cool thing I'm going to do tied to this license, and I'm excited about my partner. I can't say anything about it, but this is going to be like a true collaboration. And Cappy, works on incredible games. So tell us, how did this partnership come together with the show and the game?
Yeah, I mean, it was a strange thing. We normally don't look at this type of thing. Like, we're normally not that. We want to make our own stuff.
And lots of people, I'm sure, come to you and say, hey, you want to do this movie game?
Yeah, for sure. But we got cartoons in our blood. It's our inspiration. We love the work that Cartoon Network has been doing. And so when these guys came knocking, it was really interesting. They had played all of our stuff. Yeah. We had very critical discussions about our video games, but they also were talking about this cool new show that we were doing, and I was a huge fan of Ian's past work on Steven and on Adventure Time. I was a huge fan of Regular Show, so it was like, well, yes, let's obviously talk. And the way that it came to be was really just they wanted Cappy to be a part of the creation of OKKO, not just make a game after this thing has been done. The game and the show really came to life together.
That's so amazing.
And it's a really special thing. We couldn't be happier about it.
So how does that collaboration work? I mean, obviously incredible artistic talent there.
Yeah.
Creative talent. Like, tell us, how does that work sort of creatively about building both together?
it's been really fun. Like when we started, we didn't even have artwork or episodes done. We just had like some black and white, like really rough storyboards that we just kind of showed these guys, and sort of we started developing the world like in tandem. So we would basically hop on with them like every week, show them everything we've been doing. They would show us everything that they've been doing, and it really kind of came like we became like this organic sort of like development together. So like I think usually a lot of times with a license or something, it's they see something in a vacuum, then they have to figure out how to make a game out of it. But this, we kind of started like from the ground up, like who are these characters? What is this world? And we found different ways of expressing that through like the gameplay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell the art is just so cool because it is like a cartoon brought to life.
It's when Ian and Toby were working on the show, the thing that we really grabbed was that it's a show kind of with video games at its core, instead of this layer of just like, oh, and also here's some cool video game stuff. It was really about these heroes in this world, and these heroes are video game heroes. And so while they were approaching video games from the cartoon standpoint, it gave us an opportunity to talk about how do you approach video games from a cartoon standpoint, and to think about how to make a game that's kind of like you're playing a cartoon.
So, Toby, what is tell us about the sort of the arc of this sort of story and these characters.
This is kind of like a show about a kid who wants to become a great hero, but he's also in a world where every single person is a superhero.
Okay.
So this location, Lakewood Plaza Turbo, is like a nexus for all the disparate heroes of this different universe. And each of these characters could kind of be the main hero in their own comic book, anime, or video game. And here we see these three main characters, KO, Rad, and Enid. And in this game, we kind of play KO, and he's just getting started, and he's a lowly hero, and he wants to kind of level up and become this great, amazing hero. And the way he does it, both in the show and in the game in different ways, is by forming relationships and helping heroes who he looks up to.
Wow. So, you talk about this sort of collaboration, game and show, and sometimes, we've seen that with South Park. They can write stuff for a game, but it's, how does it all line up together? So how is this all going? Is it all going to kind of come out around the same time, or how's it going to all sort of roll out to the world, fans?
Well, let's see. I can say right now that so the show is going to come out on TV in the summer.
This summer?
This summer.
Okay.
However, if you have the Cartoon Network app, tomorrow you'll be able to see brand new full episodes of the show, like exclusively brand new, way ahead of the show.
Multiple episodes?
Yeah, multiple full brand new episodes.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
Yeah, premiering there. And the game will launch a little bit fall. Yeah.
So it's not going to be exactly the same, but it's going to be very nearby. And it's coming to PC, Xbox One, and PS4 all at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's really, really cool. And obviously, the art, and I'm sure the sound and everything, it's all built together, right? And that's why I think it's going to be really cool.
One of the best things about this project for us has been Ian and Toby putting kind of their trust in us, and it's the show looks different than the game. The show is written differently than the game, but they're all kind of this cohesive part of a universe. We're all building our own canon. We're not following a really strict script. We're not following model sheets. We're getting a chance to make a Cappy game set in this world that Ian and Toby have entrusted us with. And then our game gets a chance to explore some characters that maybe Ian and Toby haven't explored yet, or go down a slightly different path with KO. And it's a heck of a good time, that's for sure. And it's a lot of fun to work on.
It's so cool that this came together. I mean, Toby, when you were thinking about this, and Ian, it's like, Cappy, was it sort of first on the list of people to collaborate with?
It was something that honestly, working with games was part of the initial development, between the pilot and the show.
Right.
And we had done a great mobile game with Double Stallion. And Cartoon Network, had this relationship they were starting to build with Cappy, and they were, this was 2 E3s ago, they were just like, hey, do you want to grab lunch, with Nathan and Chris from Cappy? And we were just like, yes, of course. We were just such huge fans that we were just like, look, I don't care if anything comes of this.
Right,
we
just
want
cool guys to know.
Say hello and get to know them. And so it was just like a nice first meeting, and it kind of built naturally from there. And honestly, it was something that was beyond even our expectations of what was possible. And it just happened that, it was a super organic thing. We just happened to jive completely about just kind of like our taste and what we think is cool and interesting about both cartoons and games.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Well, it looks really cool. And Nathan, this will come out, you said, across all platforms. So will it be episodic, or it'll just be the game?
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It is a thing.
It's a packaged thing you're going to
Yes,
purchase.
yes.
A full thing.
That was a totally cagey answer, by the way. So just,
Oh, okay. Stay tuned, I guess. Well, hopefully it's the kind of thing that will continue to grow over time and can feed off of each other. And I mean, storyline-wise, they're discrete things, but are there going to be cool kind of crossover?
There are definitely parts of the game that tie like literally into the show,
Okay.
and we can't go too deep into that. But we're not just they're not just separate.
I was gonna say,
little
that's
pieces.
part of the
There
fun.
Are, There is a
In your
little bit
shadows
of
while
stuff for
preserving
people to
crisp
find for
details from
super
greater
fans of the
distances.
show. They will find
See
little
all these
pieces.
If you watch
never
the
before
show
realized.
very, very closely,
Augmented visual designs
you'll get a little
promote
bit of
the
extra
finest
stuff out
details
of
in
it.
PlayStation
How it
games.
works the game.
And will you guys
Articles of dirt
have,
on
like, will there be
clothes,
scenes
or
from
rust
the show
flakes
in
on
the
metal.
game, or like
These
We're doing
enhanced features
we're doing
make
all of our
natural
own
and
animation.
Really?
like
We're doing,
smoke
we actually have an
feel
animation
heavy
studio
and look
called
real,
Exit 73 that
producing
are
a more
amazing dudes that are
authentic and
doing
visceral
fully
atmosphere.
animated parts of the game with us, and it's
Yeah.
amazing because
Increased anti-aliasing
they're
creates
friends with
images
Ian,
with
so
rounded
through
edges.
the show,
Details on
we got to
faces
work
appear
with
smoother,
their friends in the
softer,
game.
more
Amazing, and
convincing.
like,
More
I don't
real.
know if you know Dose One, but he did the soundtrack for a whole bunch of
Enhanced
awesome games,
gameplay
Gang
supports
Beasts, and